Hey folks, and if you needed something roofed, you know, with this rainy monsoon coming up, and you need it done right, you need Diversified Roofing, a proud Coyote sponsor.
Now we're live.
All right, we are live.
Okay.
65-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by MJ Walker.
Yeah, it's right there.
And a 2-point conversion by Elijah Brooks. Makes it 8-0. It's a botched handoff exchange between Thomas Webb and Terrell Hayward.
At the 5. Taken out at the 30. A good return. Looked like 29 in on the return. Sebastian Felix brought down by number 23 for the Coyotes. A.J. Jackson lives right down the street from me.
Let me open up very quickly here.
Speaking of down the street, if I'm hungry, I'm going down the street to Ruby's Country Store and Barbecue, and I love barbecue.
First of all, we're going to open and dedicate this podcast to see a long time percentage of our presidential candidate contender, Davey Warren Hero, in a Maverick. So we're dedicating this week's podcast to John Payne. Where's the audio coming from? In there. So up here. Timeout taken over 5:55 on the clock. Coyotes of Centennial up 8-0.
Timeout, Coyotes.
Early thoughts here. We had a nice conversation here as we've been waiting to get up and running. Yes. What are we noticing so far? So far we have a little bit of road trip, jitters between a couple of the players in Cienega. Something the first quarter, maybe the first 3 quarters, shot them out of it.
And you know, folks, it's hot out today, which makes me think about Donnelly AC and Plumbing. That's right. Donnelly AC, another. We're going to let you know who our sponsors are, and we're proud of Cairo Fit. They do it right. Cairo Fit. First and 10 at the 30 for the Bobcats. Trying to come around the right side. Hayward on the carry. On the stop for the Coyotes, that's number 44, LaAndre Harris. Picks up a couple. 2nd and 8. Hey, and if you don't forget your booster club here, we got our booster club for all your barrel and shaved ice. We got shaved ice. They've got shirts, hats. If you want it, see our booster club. Trying to come up that right gap, up the A gap. That closes pretty quick. 2nd and 8. Yeah, that was plugged very quickly by Tyler Watkins, number 67 of the Coyote. No gain on the play, 3rd and 8. And don't forget Sun Devil Heating. You got it. Sun Devil Heating from the cheer squad, the proud cheer sponsor. They've got shirts, hats, if you want it, see them. Loaded up to the short side. Looks wide. Shoots the screen. He's going to be read fairly quickly. Dylan Wampler on the stop. I like that sportsmanship. You pick somebody up, you tap them on the helmet, and you say, good job. 4th and 7 now for the Coyotes. Back to punt. It looks like it's Thomas Webb, number 4.
Thomas Webb. I thought he graduated as a hybrid linebacker and safety from Cienega. Also at tandem quarterback, as a natural quarterback. Low snap here, fields it off the turf, gets a high.
Short kick. The Coyotes are going to let it go. And it'll get down around the 20, but we'll call 26, 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Coyotes. And speaking at first, be the first McAllister Deli. I'll tell you what, that cheerleaders love that, and that's where they're heading. You need your roof done? We got JLC Roofing. And don't forget, Shipley's Ortho. Man, that took me in about every penny I had for the kids to get their teeth done. And Ping Golf. Again, Ping Golf for all that they've done. And folks, we've got a little coyote clinic coming up here on the 21st, on the 15th, 9 to noon, for all boys and girls from, and it's great. It's all the way from kindergarten to 8th grade. We'll get more on that. It's on the Spirit Line. To Wee Walker to the left. That closes quick. Yeah, they fouled him around. Coming on the outside of that, looked like could have been number 8, Zach Mattis. They do, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10. You pick somebody up, you tap on the helmet, you say, good job. 4th and 7 now for the Coyotes.
Yeah, where is that other lady?
Looks like it's Thomas Smith,
I don't know. You can trade with Sean now.
and we've got slot to the far side, to the wide side. Keeper to the left side. Can he do it? Gonna get close. Morris on a keeper. Diego Rivas on the stop. So Morris gets it close.
Oh.
3 and a couple. And you never say short when you're on that field. It's not a short yard to go at all, is it? So that's going to be a 3 and short, 3rd and short for the Coyotes, or 3rd and 2. And again, just reminded on the about our cheer clinic. I'll get more on that. Looks like the ball is fumbled.
Initially, it was Centennial that came up with it, and we're waiting for the signal from the officials on the field.
So, what looked like it'd be a first down is now a first down for the Bobcat. Back to our little Coyote clinic, folks. This is for all kids, boys and girls, kindergarten to 8th grade. It's going to be on Saturday, September 15th, right here at Centennial, from 9 a.m. to noon. Now, they'll be performing on the 21st here at our varsity game, at the 21st at Friday night's game. See any Spirit member or coach for more information. We've got a little Coyote clinic coming up here on.
That's right, one lineman from Centennial initially was on top of his man of line count. It looked like it was Jake Fife, number 70, right guard. Centennial unable to hold on to it. So the Cats there scrambling, and now in business at the 39.
Flag on the play.
The only score on the game, if you think about it, has been on a turnover.
Right.
And it was just a lucky bounce, scoop and score by the Centennial Coyotes.
See if the Cats here can be resilient. Tyree
Walker picks
on
up
the
a couple.
run to the right side. I think 4 yards on the carry. It'll make it 2nd down and 6 here for the Coyotes.
Dylan Silva on the stop.
You just wonder here emotionally if Cienega can weather kind of these negative setbacks here early in the game and be resilient. It's certainly testing their fortitude and their grit, right? We talk about grit a lot in an
2nd and about 6
setting.
for the Coyotes. Coyotes now spread them out to the wide
Comes down
side.
to the captains. I don't know who the captains were this game, but it comes down to the captains to be in charge of that emotional setback.
Looking for room, needs a corner.
Tui
Can he
Walker
cut?
comes to the right side, finds the edge, misses a tackle.
Still on his feet to Wee
and
Walker.
he picks up 8 for a first down here.
And it looks like he's got it up the Cheney flags. We always
Looked
wait
like he
before
was
we
going to
call
be
it.
stopped for a loss of yards.
Now he got a
made
great
a quick move to
so
the
we got
outside.
a great downfield
rode the
block by
sideline,
Caden Miles.
Got a first down. It's a
Came
big
down to
first
help
down to
out
get
there,
them
one
out
of our
of a little
sophomores.
breathing room. Maybe give them a little momentum for this drive.
Captains for tonight's game, Diego Rivas.
In on the
number
stop,
1,
coming up to help out was number 8,
Thomas
Zach
Webb
Mattis.
Jr., number 4, the senior running back. Terrell Hayward, number 7, the senior wide receiver, punt returner, kick returner. And number 15, the senior quarterback, Luis Morales Jr. from the Cats. For Centennial, captains for tonight, number 8, Jonathan Morris, their quarterback. And number 40, Derek Jurdowski, 43, Tanner Durfee, and 67, Tyler Watkins. Play action pass, quarterback rolls to his left, throws to his left, nice pass on the catch and run here, and big yardage down the far sideline.
Just about the 45-yard line.
Good block by the receiver downfield. That's a thing that often goes unrecognized by receivers on big run plays. If a run play is a a good chunk of yardage, good chances the receiver is making a good block.
Well hit there, a little
14 Dylan Miller on that block. I saw that.
Yeah, Morris did a great job on that. He sold it.
26-yard pass
Great
reception.
throw. Put it on the money, and Jackson, I'll take it from here.
A.J. Jackson on the catch and run for 26. Centennial in business now in Bobcat territory at the 47-yard line. This might be the last play of the first quarter.
Let's see if they hurry up and
Clock
get one off
winding
here.
down to 6 seconds and counting. And we have a
timeout, Coyotes. You know what that means? You got time to hit the snack bar.
It is interesting.
Folks, we just put down the whole
to
bubble
save
of our
2.7
famous Coyote dogs.
here.
These things are raised in northern Arizona. I used to be a Coyote dog rancher. I know Coyote dogs. Yeah, they're a little frisky, but they are so good to eat.
It doesn't make sense, though, to set up the first
Now,
play
I'm telling you, we got Halloween coming up here, what, in about 45 days? I'd buy some of them, put them in your freezer, hand them out for Halloween. Forget that noise. We're going to take them to Thanksgiving. Anybody can have turkey. We want Coyote dogs for Thanksgiving.
For those of them that don't know, you only have 3 timeouts in the first half, or I mean for each half. Hopefully it doesn't come down to a 2-minute drill at the end of the second quarter going into halftime, and that timeout comes back to hurt them a little bit.
It's interesting. So we're here between quarters. Centennial is up 8-0.
Okay, check this out on the cheer line, folks. Check the spear line. Check the fly out. Look how just motionless. Great job to the Coyote spirit line. And hey, if you can hear us over across, your Bobcat spirit line's looking pretty good too.
2 turnovers by the Bobcats in Centennial side of the field. Definitely need to start capitalizing more on their offensive drives. 1 fumble by Centennial. Yep.
And the lefty, Jonathan Morris, at quarterback, drops back to throw. Flare pass to the right here, pass complete to J.L. Stark. Stark sheds a tackler, shimmy shakes, and spins out inside the 30-yard line.
Flag on the play.
Good call, Jacob. So we have a flag down on the field.
The way the coaches are reacting over there, I know that reaction by Darling, it might be a sideline warning.
18 yards on the catch and run by J.L. Stark.
And that'll end the first quarter.
Bit of a scat back running back, 5'9", 175. Kind of in the mold of a Darren Sproles with the Eagles, longtime New Orleans Saints, San Diego Charger.
Right.
That kind of a player, looks like, with the speed and agility.
A little bit of toughness on him as well.
Right, to be able to run somebody over and shake a couple of tackles. Jason Miller, along with Braben Bolton, the Matrix, making his debut on Bobcat TV.
Hello.
And Jacob Greenberg, our play-by-play guy, back in action next Friday night, probably with Tyler Braun as well.
Coaches, Carlos Gonzalez
so I don't know, Braben, it's been a couple of years since you graduated from Cienega, so I don't know if the listeners out there watching this broadcast know how good that you were at wide receiver and as a punt returner and kick returner, but you were superlative. That's why I called you the Matrix. You did crazy things out on the field.
Appreciate that. I remember getting
Dakota Poe,
watching the games. Dakota Poe.
those guys. Jamari Joyner, of course.
Tyler Hammonds,
Yes, Tyler Hammonds, a quarterback as well. It's a lot of talent on that team.
Ah, what a team that was, man. What a team
a golden team. And you played Centennial 2 years ago at Tucson High School.
Right.
Difficult, adverse start for you guys.
Right.
If you remember going back to that game, do you think that psychologically, mentally, I know that Centennial was huge. Their offensive line is always bigger. So they've got just stacked up there with guys 280, 290, 300, 285 pounders. Cienega maybe has one person that's about that kind of like size and stature.
Right.
First and 10,
we're looking at a program here that is a well-oiled machine. It runs like a Swiss watch. Handoff, left side.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
Hunter Schlegel, 74. Oh, late flag here.
Shot, number 54.
Now, is that warranted? Schlegel rode him down to the ground, but he's just following through on the tackle. I guess the whistle had blown. So we'll see if there's a call here against the Cats for unsportsmanlike or unnecessary roughness.
I know when they played us 2 years ago, unnecessary roughness calls were nowhere to be found. There were hits like after the whistle, before the whistle, all the time. I remember. I don't know if the game of football is changing along with the professional league and the collegiate league and everything like that, but I don't know if that was justified as maybe it was a revenge call, or not a revenge call,
a makeup call
for
the botched pass interference call going against Centennial. Maybe, but it's a curious time to do it. And you're looking at a running back, not a quarterback that you're trying to protect. So 25, Mark Jacob on the carry.
Still on his feet.
Still on his feet, and then pile driven maybe down to the ground a little bit by big Hunter Schlegel, 74, the nose tackle from the Cats. Biggest player on that defensive line. Cats here showing a 4-man front, 2 linebackers in the middle, and 5 defensive backs. 3 safeties, 2 corners. Quarterback steps up in the pocket now, looks to run, dumps it off, tipped! And nearly picked and nearly caught at the same time. Ultimately, it was Sergio Torres. The ball bouncing around like one of those ping pong balls at the lottery. My goodness, you hear the fans here laugh. Everybody's looking and laughing at it because we don't see those kind of plays happen very often.
Right.
Almost like a volleyball
Usually
play.
someone comes up with that interception there with all those bodies in the same area with the ball floating around like that.
Well, Jonathan Morris, the junior, he's 5'11", 170. 50% of his passes complete on the year. 381 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
This is the Centennial we played right here.
Tight formation.
Yeah.
Very tight here. Handoff left side. Dewey Walker picks up 2, maybe 3. It's Webb on the tackle. And number 29, Sebastian Felix for Cienega, making the tackle there. 3rd down and 8. Big 3rd down play here for Cienega, I think. The ball's at the 15-yard line.
Could be a very good stop here if they can force them to get a field goal out of this drive. That'd be a win for Cienega's books here. They turned it over again. This would be a very good stop here.
Centennial going right to left. Navy jerseys, red numbers, navy helmets, and red striping. Handoff goes to left to Dewey Walker. And that massive offensive line pushing forward. The offensive front here for Centennial. At left tackle is Caden Miles, the sophomore, number 74. His dad, Boyd, gave me the lowdown on this offensive front. Very interesting. Nice conversation with him pregame. George Roeder, number 77, is the left guard. Carson Keltner is the center, number 65, the senior. The right guard is Jake Fife, number 70. The right tackle, Oscar Abundis, number 78, the sophomore. 4th down and 6. Cats here stacking everybody at the line of scrimmage. Centennial going for it. Pitch to the right side. Dewey Walker. One man can't bring him down. The second one does. It's Sergio Torres on the tackle. And a loss of 8. Sergio's a gritty player. Undersized, that corner and safety. But he's very gritty, and he has a knack for getting to the football. Big tackle there by Sergio Torres. Big tackle for a
loss of yards. Maybe make this a lot of pressure coming off this offensive drive for Cienega. Give them a little room by that tackle as well.
Room and momentum. The ball at the their own 22-yard line here with 10:01 on the clock. The Coyotes of Centennial up 8-0 here. Beautiful stadium. I have to say I like to see natural grass, and this is real grass. We were at Choya High School in week 1. That was not real grass. That was a combination of weed grass, dandelion, and crabgrass, and not even any Bermuda that I see there at Choya. This is real grass and a beautiful playing surface here at the pristine Centennial High School. Sergio Torres now calls a timeout. He looked over the defense and saw something he did not like.
Bobcats.
So the Cats here calling a timeout.
I'd just like to say, from what we've seen, Centennial probably doesn't have a field goal kicker because they went for the 2 on that touchdown.
Good point.
Now, with close yardage here, they didn't go for that field goal. They went for it on 4th down.
Very true. And they knew that going into the 3rd down play. They knew that they had 2 plays going into it, ran it up the middle, hopefully to, catch Cienega sleeping on the toss. But they very well knew they were not going to be kicking it on 4th down.
It's a great point, Jacob. Tonight's game is brought to you by Aris Family Dental, Apex Network Physical Therapy, awards to go, Baggins Gourmet Sandwiches. I like the Sundown Baggins. That's my sandwich down there. Beck's Auto Glass, Desert Earth Contracting, Dina Hogg with EXP Realty, Dr. Ty and Dean with the Sports Institute of Tucson. We thank you for your sponsorship of Cienega High School football. 1st and 10 Cats from their own 20-yard line. Cats going left to right. White uniforms, white helmets, white pants, white socks, white towels. Everything's white across the board here.
Wow.
We know the Cats can color coordinate in a variety of combinations with their uniforms, but they're all white tonight. Handoff here. It's Gio Owens.
You got to make that cut.
Right. You want to cut it in before that?
Just commit. You got to commit. He knew he had to, though. He wanted to get out to the outside there with his speed, but sometimes you got to take those 10 yards. If he would have cut, he probably got 8 or 9 yards. He's looking for that big 40-yard play to get outside, but sometimes you just got to put that head down and get about 8 to 9 yards.
Gio Owens ends up picking up a yard on the carry. Eric Sire Fields, number 9, the senior safety on the tackle. And I would imagine as a ball carrier, the natural tendency is to get outside so you can then head up.
Right.
But it's harder to cut it up earlier in the play. I think it's just something like instinctual that's natural that people have, or
You
they
don't want to be hit by those giant
defensive tackles and linebackers in the middle.
Oh, we got to have.
Oh, that pass was off Ethan White's hands, right on target.
Great ball by number 15.
Hard, so
Number
this will be
17,
3rd and 9.
Kieran Clark, the senior cornerback, had a chance to intercept that one. It just skipped off Ethan's hands. Ethan has to make that catch for the Cats.
I think Braven Bolton would have got that one.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe.
There's no doubt about it.
If I had my gloves on.
And I would imagine, Braven, that Centennial's great coach, Richard Taylor, is looking at Centennial or Cienega and saying, how do we slow down Terrell Hayward? How do we neutralize the Terrell Hayward, the great senior wide receiver, the slot receiver, number 7? I would imagine, like Bill Belichick and the great coaches, they try to neutralize the other team's best weapon.
Right.
Morales going deep down the far sideline, overthrown. The target was Gio Owens running a fly pattern, and right there in coverage for Centennial was A.J. Jackson.
You know, it's interesting to me. I've seen a couple deep balls from Cienega, and I think it's been like 3 now, maybe 2. But all of them have gone opposite of Terrell Hayward. I haven't seen Terrell Hayward in the mix right now. I would like to see a long ball go to him, see if he can make something happen.
Right, and I'm sure
Thomas Webb to kick.
that Pat
A.J. Jackson to receive for the
that
Coyotes.
offensive coordinator and their coaching staff, they're trying to figure out a way to get, I mean, the point here is to get Hayward the ball in space. Well, that ball skipped twice off the turf. Webb picks it up and gets off a good punt here. Backing the man up to the 35-yard line. And good coverage there by the special teams.
Well, he don't want to go down, but he does.
And no return on that one. The tackle is made by Elijah Amico, the younger brother of Nate Amico.
In on the stop,
So
Ethan
a
White, number 12 and number 11,
from Thomas
Elijah
Webb. And again, the
Amico.
ball skipped 3 times off the turf. So for Thomas
First
to be
and
able
10,
to handle that
Centennial.
Person
calmly,
in his face,
with two guys coming hard on him, and to be able to get off the punch with distance and hang time, and a great coverage tackle there by Elijah Amico. So Centennial, 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line, going right to left.
Elijah Amico, shout out to his family. Very good people.
For sure.
His older brother, Nathan, is at U of A now, doing his thing, playing football still as well.
Mother very nice.
Yes.
Isn't he on the rugby team over there?
He was going to go rugby, but football team brought him on. He's been playing football.
Pitch goes to the right side. Centennial's up 8-0, 8:45 on the clock here in the 2nd quarter.
Thank you.
Coyotes going right to left. It's 2nd down.
You knew it'd be a
9.
good one, and it is. 2 good teams, and I'll tell you, both teams hanging tough on defense.
I like this public address announcer here. He's very colorful.
He is. He has
Cienega
a lot
fans, we know Tim Nichols is an excellent public address announcer. The GOAT, you called him earlier today, as a public address announcer. So I like to see it. Great positive energy, positive vibes, and a very colorful character.
Right.
Play action. Quarterback rolls to his left. Now he cuts it inside and keeps the football for a gain of 7.
45 slides now.
Very good move by him sliding there. He had 3 linebackers around him, 2 more players behind him. If he would have tried to take a hit, he would have got hit by not just the 1 person that he thought he saw, but another 4 as well. Very mature slide.
Jonathan Morris with excellent pocket awareness.
3rd and 3 for the
He
Coyotes.
seems very comfortable there in the pocket. And he's a threat. There have been times when he's flashed his speed and agility with the legs and then thrown the football. So
is he a senior? Or
he's a junior. So as a linebacker, you've got to respect his ability to throw off the run. And as a lefty, he's pretty crafty. So it's 3rd down and 4 here. Morris hands off to Wee Walker.
Wee Walker gets it done, gets up off the right side.
Tackle on the play by Thomas Webb Jr. But the chains move forward. And Centennial
Webb
has
on
the
the
ball
stop,
right
Walker
at
on the carry,
midfield at the
1st and
50-yard
10
line.
Coyotes.
Hot night here.
Hot night, yes.
September the 7th.
I was at the ASU, I don't know who they played, but I was at the ASU.
UTSA or
UTSA, yes.
Right.
It was like 103 outside, but in that stadium, it felt like 115. I love football. I could only stay for the first half.
Slow roasting. Darius Williams also making the trip up here. He's a freshman or sophomore at ASU. Sophomore at ASU.
The middle, Morris slides down about the 40.
To Morris on the left side.
Yeah, so fast, man, and
that's all you needed to stay.
Draw all the way on a keeper.
After the half.
Yeah.
There's Morris on the keeper. So 2nd down and 3 here for Centennial. 6:50 on the clock. It'll be 2nd and 3 from the 42-yard line of Cienega. I do like Herm Edwards as well.
ASU does look good. They have their N'Keal Harry coming back. Very good player. Definitely going to probably be, if he has a breakout year, maybe first, maybe second round draft pick.
An interesting hire, certainly. Herm being kind of like the CEO. We have a flag here
on the ball.
play.
He's got it, but I see a flag over on the backside.
Picks up 9, slides
enough
safely.
for a first down. We'll just see who it's on.
But we have an illegal motion here going against Centennial. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty here. And it should be a replay of second down. So it makes it second down and 8.
Score still 8-0, only score being the turnover earlier today on that scoop and score by Centennial, number 31. I forgot his name though.
And the 2-point conversion.
And the 2-point conversion as well.
Right, MJ Walker.
Shift to be second and 8 for the Coyotes.
Morris, in case you're wondering, averaging 7.3 yards a carry, 6 carries for 44 yards coming into the game, but he's flashing his wheels and athleticism. Option pitch goes now here left to Walker, and he's strung out by Josiah Ware.
Yeah, that one there.
Quarterback.
See what happened there? He had to wait on the ball, but that's okay. The Coyotes still with
you gotta,
down.
make that decision, or you're gonna set up your running back by. You're gonna set up your running back for failure there.
Jacob Acosta, the senior, number 35, the linebacker, also there on the tackle. He is the leading tackler for the Cienega Bobcats, and now it sets up a 3rd down and 8. So what we've seen here early from Morris, and the passing attack at least, the way it's scripted and diagrammed, it's shorter pass patterns.
Yep.
Now they've got 3 wide receivers to the far side in trips, a little triangle, 1 receiver near side. They like to go short, intermediate, and long. We have a whistle here.
Blown dead.
Pass was overthrown. Intended target was Dylan Miller, number 14.
Bobcats took a timeout.
And the Cats called a timeout before
you
the
got
ball
time to
was
hit that
snapped.
snack bar.
And I do like that call. So it's weird because they've taken the clock off as they're running just a minute here for the timeout. So I think we're at 7 minutes or so here in the second quarter. But I like the call here from Brett Darling, the defensive coordinator from Cienega, to make sure that he has exactly what he wants out there on the field.
Right.
It's a big 3rd down play for Cienega.
Very big 3rd down right here. If they can stop him here, get the ball back, we definitely have the weapons on offense to score very quickly. Maybe
check out that marching band. They've been giving us outstanding
the game that you played against Centennial. I don't think Cienega went your direction.
Yeah, it was.
Was it difficult to find space?
It was a difficult game because out the jump I was double teamed from the.
That's what I was wondering, if they schemed against you from the outset, making it very difficult for you to find and maneuver in space, because you were so good at finding those intermediate crevices or nooks in the territory and the real estate.
Right. We came away from our offense a little bit. We weren't running a lot of intermediate routes. We were trying to go deep for some reason a lot of the time.
Right, and not running too much either.
We weren't running. We had Dakota Pro and everything like that, but.
And Dakota's at the U of A.
Dakota is at U of A, yeah.
At the running back position, and Jamari Joyner's at the U of A at the quarterback position.
Correct.
He's the 2nd string quarterback on the roster. Morris back to throw, comes near side, he's got a man wide open. The ball is caught at the 15. So a big pickup here.
Throw by number 8.
31 yards on the reception by Jaden Young.
Takes it.
The junior running back. Looks like a little wheel route that he had run coming out of the backfield, wide open on the sideline. Perfectly dropped pass.
Young did the rest,
as it were.
And it wasn't a complete pass. Kind of bobbled it a little bit. He was able to pull it in before he got out of bounds.
Able to pull it in and keep his feet inside in bounds. He was just about a foot or so inside the sideline. So now in the red zone here, 1st and 10 from the 15. Wide receiver screen comes near side.
Dylan Miller on the reception. Takes the swing pass.
I'm willing to bet that wheel pass was on film, and there's a little bit of anger in the coaches right now. Does that look like a play that you just practice and study for in actual practice with the toppers on and everything like that?
Especially coming out of a timeout.
Especially coming out of a timeout. I don't want to say that that's why he called the timeout and maybe was saying watch for this play.
Right.
But definitely a type of play that you study for.
A little demoralizing, a big one there for Centennial. Morris back to throw, lost it to the corner of the end zone. Receiver looked like he pushed off there, but it's a touchdown. So 9 yards on the touchdown reception by Dylan Miller. At 6'2", it did appear as if he pushed the cornerback off of him to make some separation, but no call there from the back judge there, who was on the back line of the end zone, and going against Terrell Hayward, who is undersized at cornerback, giving up, probably about 5, maybe 6 inches there on the play. Very difficult coverage for him.
Very interesting call there by Centennial, I have to say. I know if these last 2 years, if I was willing to bet $100 on what play they were going to run in the 5-yard line, it's going to be a run for sure every single time. Here's the first kick of the game, and I believe you are right, Jacob. It was a good kick, but I don't think they have the strength at the kick position as maybe
we're going to hold the NORAD. We'll track it and bring it back. Kim, make a call to NORAD.
It's hard for me to see.
And the Coyotes with 4.5 minutes left to go into half, take the lead, 15-zip. Speaking of zip over that snap, or see what we got. Enjoy that next
Garcia is a force on defense at defensive tackle or nose guard, with 1.5 sacks, 8 tackles, 5 solo at 5'11", 255. So not your prototypical kicker, but Xavier Garcia with the extra point. And the Coyotes are up now 15-0.
Back deep, Gio Owens, number 3, and Terrell Hayward, number 7. Terrell Hayward.
Terrell Hayward is going to take this back for a touchdown.
Well, I like that call. He does have a touchdown as a kick returner this season. He had one last year.
Kicking for the Coyotes,
also a threat as a punt returner. And I'm sure that Centennial sees this on film. Now, you have to kind of temper your excitement here with the Cienega Bobcats stats overall. Week 1, they played a Choya team that was just terrible. There's no other way to say it. And I don't mean to disrespect those kids who did play their hearts out, but they are not at the level that these teams that we're seeing here, and the other elite teams in Southern Arizona, like Ironwood Ridge and Marana,
South Point,
Mountain View, South Point, certainly like those schools, not at that level.
Right. I am very interested. Is South Point on Cienega Bobcats schedule this year?
No, South Point dropped down to 4A. So Cienega a 5A team.
15-yard line is close to 1st and 10 for the Bobcats.
And there's no way, I'm not going to mince words here.
And again, Jaden Young on the stop for Centennial.
So they could dominate 4A. They can't dominate 5A, so they drop down to 4.
Hayward on the carry, so Jaden on the stop. Oh, we've got a player now. We don't care what color jersey you're wearing, like somebody hurt.
Today. They play a lot of out of state.
Oh, that's
over on the Bobcat side of the field, right off
South
the
Point.
20-yard line.
They were in the 4A though. They were still in the 4A. We had a regular.
And they played up. Right.
It was a good game in the first half. We kind of pulled away. I remember that game. But I'm interested in the rivalry between Cienega and South Point. I love seeing that game.
It's a juicy game.
Trainers over there to take
and last year, missing Bijan Robinson, right, the great junior running back from South Point, who was, well, it depends on who you talk to. He either had a knee injury or he was academically ineligible.
Right.
But the word that we got, the word on the street coming into that game, was that he had a knee injury that he was nursing.
But I know Bijan Robinson. I know his older brother, Aaron Sauls. I know the type of athlete and competitor he is. I know it would have to be a broken bone for him to not play that game.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was academic for him.
Yeah.
But a superlative talent.
Very good player. Going to be very bright future.
At the next level.
At the next level.
For sure.
That's his older brother.
Let's have a round of applause, folks. Number 9.
Yeah, and Saul's one of those great players in the past.
And folks, a reminder from our snack bar, we still got plenty of Coyote dogs and Coyote pizza, so head on over there.
Speedsters.
These aren't ordinary Coyote dogs. These are special.
Tonight's game brought to you by Homster Heating and Cooling, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Jostens of Southern Arizona, Dream, Believe, Achieve, Joe and Jan Grossi with Jostens, KB Home, Kaiser Garage Doors, Lieber Orthodontics, Momentum and Agility Physical Therapy, Montgomery's Grill, and Noonan Physical Therapy. Noonan. Tiger Woods back in action, looking pretty good. I know golf fans are excited about that.
Yes.
I don't know what he shot today.
Very promising.
But he's back. He's back in the mix. It looks like almost fully recovered.
Gatorade commercials, full effect again.
Right.
Come on,
so Hayward here going to the near side. And speed here to get the edge, and wisely scampers out of bounds after a gain of 9 on the carry.
That's something I wish I did more. Step out of bounds.
I
always would put my head down.
You did.
Folks, we got plenty of Coyote dogs. We've got a lot of mint tonight. Normally $2 a piece, but today and today only. Ready for this? $24 a dozen. That's right. $24 a dozen. You take them home, you wrap them up.
Yep.
So you did take a lot of punishment, and you did lower your shoulder often. I forgot about that. I just remember the great catches that you made in midair and the things that you made happen afterwards. But you were a very physical receiver.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great receiver. Terrell Hayward now running in the Wildcat.
Keeper a little
goes
short
to his
side,
left,
or
no
wide
gain.
side.
So the Cats, I can understand from Pat Nugent's perspective and Todd Welch's perspective, is trying to get the ball in Terrell Hayward's hands.
Not much
The
there.
easy way to do that is to
Dylan
put him
Walker
at
on the stop
quarterback.
for the Coyotes.
But I think you're also becoming a little bit one-dimensional because it becomes more obvious like what you want to do from Centennial's defensive perspective.
They're throwing in some new plays this game. They have that new diamond formation
Right.
around Terrell Hayward taking direct snaps.
I remember we would make certain formations for certain teams, specifically Ironwood. We made this diamond
And the
formation.
Coyotes are saying, how about getting on your fans, folks, and giving
that
them some
completely
Coyote
exposed the
support.
Ironwood defense and everything like that, so I understand what they're trying to do.
31, handoff to Webb. Far side.
Oh,
Webb with big
he's
room
got
to
it
go.
up and a lot more.
And Webb picks up
35.
13 yards and a first down. That's the biggest running play here tonight for Cienega.
Webb on the carry,
Thomas Webb's
Walker
the
on the
1 yard
stop.
guy. When they need 1 yard,
Yes.
put him in there.
We had a 1-yard guy as well. His name was Savon Bryant. I wish he would have had a little more academic
Me too.
control and everything like that, because he was a stellar athlete. I'm telling you, he was my height, 260, and could dunk a basketball.
Was he number 45?
Number 45, yeah.
Savon Bryant Carter. I called him Teddy. He's
Teddy.
like, call me Teddy. And
Call me
very
Teddy.
chill. Good rapper, right? Just a chill
Yes.
kid in overall. Here comes Webb going to the left side.
He just
And
gets behind that
picks up
left
4.
guard.
You're reminding me, I'm having all these
3 or 4
memories
on his
flooding back
own.
to me now, Braden.
I know.
So the one and only talent show that Bobcat TV
Bonnie
sponsored,
runs
it
into
was
Xavier
hip-hop
Garcia on the
show.
stop
Yes.
for the
And
Coyotes.
you were up all night
Oh, no.
putting together your
Up all night.
your
Yes.
verses and your rhymes, which was fantastic.
Second and
Right?
about
Like,
6.
and that's still on YouTube.
Right.
And then there was also like Trey
Dope.
White,
Yes, the lip syncing battle.
Jamari Joyner, and Teddy or Savon Bryant Carter.
Yes.
And then Savon just like you guys told me he had it flowing like backstage. He got on stage and like just
And
didn't have
didn't
it.
wanna do
And I
it.
know what that's like. I've been there before, if you can believe it. 2nd down and 6. Luis Morales has the ball tipped to the line of scrimmage. Intercepted. It's going to be a pick 6 here off of the deflection, and it's number 44, Leandre Harris, the senior,
Leandre Harris
on the
now we got a
interception
flag on the
return
play.
for a touchdown. It'll be
Oh,
35 yards
but there's
on
a
the pick
flag on the
6.
play. Let's
a
let
late
him sort
flag
it
here
out.
coming down.
A series of unfortunate events, it looks like. The ball is bouncing directly into Centennial's players to, run and score for a touchdown off turnovers. It's insane.
All right, well, that flag is coming at a curious position here, so it looks as if it's on the return, but the ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage.
There was no one to block there, so I'm interested to see what it's
And the
called.
flag
Could it
is
be
on the
showboating?
15.
Maybe. Leandre Harris on the interception return for a touchdown. We'll call it 35 yards on the pick 6. The ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Luis Morales Jr., well, he's 6 foot. And we see the referees down there on the field. So no chance there. The left defensive end from Centennial up with both hands, tipping that. The ball went straight into the air. And Leandre Harris there, fortuitously able to pick up that interception. So there's a big break here for Cienega. I didn't see the gestures down there on the field by the referee, so I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened. Although they're saying that
It
there's
is
no touchdown,
unsportsmanlike. It's against the Coyotes.
so unsportsmanlike penalty here against Centennial.
But it happened
Yet the interception and the
after-
turnover happens.
after
That's
the
3
interception.
turnovers here
No.
that Centennial
So it
has
is first
forced.
and 10 Centennial.
First half.
And they're in business now. 1st and 10 at the 30 with 2:19 on the clock here and a 15-0 lead, looking to add on to it.
Cienega players running onto the field here at the last second.
Right, a little disoriented. Jonathan Morris at quarterback has found his rhythm, throwing the football. Play action. Fires right side, a low pass on the
Incomplete.
slant.
A little low there. Had to go
And
down
it's
for it.
incomplete. His
That'll make
target
it
was
2nd and 10.
Dylan Miller, who scored an
Man.
earlier touchdown. It appeared that he pushed off on the play, but a big target at 6'2", just a little bit low on that pass at 2nd down and 10. 2:15 on the clock, 2nd quarter. Centennial up 15-0.
And as you said, Centennial, their success is off those short passes and their runs, and it's not Khalil Tate throwing 20 times down the field. They like their short plays.
They like
Right.
their short plays,
And Tawee Walker coming in with 6.1 yards per carry. He's not Zidane Thomas. Zidane Thomas was at a different level at running back. Walker going to the far side now.
Looking for room, and he's going to get
Lowers the
wrapped up
shoulder,
there.
and I'll lose 6 on the play, but he could have lost a lot more than that. Late penalty here.
Flag on the play.
Now, what's this call going to be? There was a little bit of jostling after the play. It'll be a big penalty here going against Cienega if it's against the Cats. And if it's against Centennial, it'll be maybe a little bit of a respite here for the Bobcats. Personal foul going against Centennial. So some mental mistakes here, and the referees are calling a tight game.
They are.
For the most part. We've seen a couple of plays that were curious calls. One pass interference penalty going against Centennial that appeared to be pass interference against Cienega's Ethan White.
Yep.
And then what I thought was a pass interference penalty that should have gone against Dylan Miller that was not called. That was a no call. So here we have a personal foul going against Centennial.
Looks like third and about a quarter of a mile. And
Walker.
Kyle Snell right at the 50.
Dane Thomas, but they
Right.
the Bobcats would that was their star player for the Centennial. That's who they were worried about, was number 7, Tweet Walker. But they've done a good job containing him here tonight.
Showing some flashes of a young Zidane.
Right, 3rd and 30. Zidane Thomas at San Diego State. Superlative runner.
Ooh, they took a loss on Saturday.
Morris back to throw. Crossing
Good
pattern here.
tackle.
Dylan Miller. Nice tackle there by Thomas Webb. And a little bit of panache on that as well.
Webb on the
I
stop.
like it. Gotta
Saying
have that
like
swagger as that hybrid
swagger.
safety.
That's a good word for sure. So it'll be 4th down here. I'd be surprised if Cienega did not call a timeout here to try to make something happen going into the locker room at halftime. 1:10 on the clock and counting. And it's going to be 4th and about 26 here. So Centennial likely to punt. Puncher's out there standing at his own 38-yard line. Terrell Hayward awaits at his own 15.
Always dangerous to punt to number 7.
Nice punt.
Should have saw them last week.
A.J. Jackson on the punt.
Always
Here
dangerous.
comes Hayward.
Great return.
Slashing his way
He's
through,
still on
trying
his
to break
feet
it
out
across
to
the
about
way.
30-yard
And he gets to
line.
the 30. So a gain of about 12 on the punt return. And the Cats have 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard lines with 43 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter.
Hayward
the Coyotes
on
on top
the catch.
15-0.
Speaking of punting to Terrell Hayward, were you at the game last week?
I was not at the game last week,
So
unfortunately.
Braben lives up here.
Yeah, I live up here.
It's hard to travel. That's why I invited him tonight. I thought it would be
Yeah.
a relatively easy game, and then the natural connection with Braben and Centennial. I just thought that this would be a good opportunity.
First and
Well,
10 at
either the
30.
punter wasn't accurate or they just didn't want to kick it to them because all the punts were out of bounds.
Right.
Like, not towards Terrell Hayward.
I always told him, when I was punt returning, I always told him, never fair catch it. Probably not good
Luis
advice.
rolling to his left under pressure, and he's
Sack
swallowed up.
at 20.
A sack on the play, and he'll lose 12 or 13. The sack
Leandre
is made
Harris.
by Leandre Harris, number 44, the
He
senior,
gets a little help from
who
Tyler
scored
Watkins.
on the pick 6 earlier. That was erased. Well, I guess it wasn't erased. It was erased. So he had an
Third and about
interception return for a
19
touchdown,
for the
but a
Bobcats.
penalty negated that interception return for a touchdown. But there's Harris at the left defensive end position.
Most likely going to be taking this into halftime after that play.
6'3", 230, and I think the Cats, of course, at this point now.
And they'll
1
let the
second
clock
here,
run out,
we'll
and
let the
you
clock
wanted a close
expire.
one. You got it at
And
the
it's
end
an
of the half.
interesting first
It's
half
the Pirates
here.
up by
The
15.
Cats
Now
have
you
certainly
get that
been
sack bar, you
game
enjoy
in
it.
this match.
And while you're getting
They
Coyote
have
dogs and Coyote
stepped up to
Cokes
the
and
challenge
Coyote
at different
pizza,
points in time,
we've got the
but
flight of the
primarily
marching band.
it's lapses mentally, and the turnovers. 3 costly turnovers going against Cienega here have caused a lot of damage here, and Centennial has capitalized and taken advantage of those turnovers. 15-0 as we go to halftime locker room.
To be honest with you, 15-0 off after all those turnovers doesn't seem like too much.
Right.
Cienega's still, you know, in this game.
But that's a stout defense that we're seeing here
Yeah,
from Centennial.
yeah, 0.
So 15, which is normally a mark that you could overcome, that seems like, I know it's 15, it doesn't look that bad on the scoreboard, but the Cats have had difficulty here stringing together certainly drives and
Need a couple
possessions.
points on the board.
And they've had nary large plays, so just a few that are in double digits here. So on one hand, 15 not bad considering the turnovers, but on the other hand, that defense is so stout from Centennial that it's going to be a very difficult hurdle to overcome for the Cats in the second half. And I'm trying to remember here, Jacob, who opened the first half on the kickoff return. Was it Cienega on the kickoff return? So Centennial will have the ball to open the second half. Right, so that's something that they have to contend with as well. The Cats have not really pulled the tricks from their hat or the rabbit out of the hat. They haven't done too many things that are tricky or
And
unexpected.
don't go away, folks. We've got the right halftime before the band. We've got our varsity spirit
They're
line.
going to have to pull something.
Oh, and they're good, and they're real good.
Tricks.
Right, Coach?
Braben, what do you think that Pat Nugent tells his kids in the
Right,
locker room
right now,
at halftime?
6th in the nation.
I can tell you for a fact that he tells, I know exactly what he says. He tells us that we need to, you know, step up. He puts a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but, you know, he's a realist. He tells us, you know, if you guys want to win this game, you guys got to win this game. There's not much, you know, we practiced all week. We schemed. A couple plays we saw earlier today that we mentioned before that, you know, a couple plays got away from them that looked like studied plays. So at the end of the day, he'll tell us, you know, we got to get the job done.
All right, we're going to go to a break here. We've got the halftime cheerleaders from Centennial and really loud speakers here right above our heads on the press box. We'll go to a locker room at halftime. Join us in about 15 minutes. Synchronize your watches. We'll be back for the second half. Jacob Greenberg, Braben Bolton, The Matrix, Jason Miller, Josh Kramer with Bobcat TV and his crew out here doing all the technical action. We'll see you at the second half in 15 on Bobcat TV.
Let's have a round of applause, folks, for the Centennial Varsity Spirit Line. Oh yeah, we got a great band, and they're going to put on a great halftime show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the 2018 Pride of the Pack Marching Band under the direction of Mrs. Kate Manesco. The band staff includes the following: our assistant director Samantha Barthel, drumline instructor Alex Lee, color guard instructor Shay Beasley, and our marching and visual technicians Juan Mateo, Alex Coulan, and our band members of the week are Tony Morris and Priye Garcia. And the section of the week is the color guard. Now this season, the Pride of the Pack will take you on a journey to the unknown, an adventure into your crazy side with You Spin My Head, The Other Side, and the New World Symphony arranged by Mike Bearden. Ultimately, your journey will lead you to embrace the insanity. Join us and live a little crazy. The band is under the field direction of our drum majors, Jared Jensen and Andrea Corano. Drum majors, is the band ready? The field is yours.
No idea where Bree is.
You got me in trouble, John. Because they got we're not having like that. So like they're talking about security, and I guess it's called a police officer. And it's so pretty. I've seen it. So like but I give my yeah, you can have that.
No scoreboard.
I mean, my dude. I don't want to watch it. No, it's the one right next to the back. There's like 100.
That's pretty good. We have that. What? Maybe that's me. That's me. Zero. That's I mean, you gotta rate it. Should be first, right? Yeah. We tried Troya, but
Okay.
this is why I don't do away games.
She get badges. Oh god, it's all warm. Theirs is all cold and fresh.
It's our guy.
What?
Guy.
Oh jeez, look at him.
Wait, where? What?
The guy in the shiny shirt. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh.
See the only... It's great.
Outlier.
Let's see, how much of their routine?
Probably all of it.
No, not at all. Is it September? No.
We're in the second group.
I mean, maybe they send stuff for some, but usually by September.
It's our metric now.
I know, but they're lesser. Huh? It's... Is this from Mulan? Oh, they have so much more color than us. A little bit. Is there a broadcast? Like delayed?
Yeah, that's plays.
Oh, they're just... I'm so jealous. They...
Yeah, they have camera right there. Camera right there.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. But the guy shooting for them has a either 400 or 200 or 400, and it has a 1D. So whenever he goes, he presses the shutter button, he goes
14 per second.
yep, and then I'm just over here. Chance goes, don't be jealous. I'm like, okay, you're right, we're getting this one, so.
I don't see it.
Oh Jesus, Sail, fix the sail.
It's really late.
What? Yeah, he's late because he's watching everybody else. He's off his counting.
Is he even on the team?
Huh?
Is he on the team?
Color guard, yeah. But yeah, he's watching rather than going off his own. He's not confident enough, like, to do it on his own. Which is normal for like beginners and stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Centennial High School Pride of the Pack Centennial Marching Band. Now just a reminder that this Sunday at Chase Field, the Pride of the Pack will be playing the national anthem at the D-backs and the Braves game this Sunday, Chase Field. We will see you there.
He doesn't know how to like handle his flag very well. What? I'm just
talking about the kid with the shiny shirt.
I'm just criticizing the guy in guard. Will you leave him alone? I was in guard, so.
Let's have another round of applause for the Pride of the Pack.
Yeah. Especially when it's other guards. Way better than him.
And while we're thinking about the Ride of the Pack, let's don't forget Lowe's Home Improvements, 83rd Avenue in Thunderbird. I'm getting a shed put up on, and they do a great job. And the reason they're putting up my shed is because when I do it, I get hurt, and you need stand-up MRI. That's right. A proud Peoria Centennial sponsor.
I am very.
And we want to recognize a chiropractic rehab. These folks are great sponsors of Centennial football and Centennial sports. And don't forget Guild Mortgage. If you need it, they can loan it to you.
I know. It's like, how do you get him under? He's gonna go under. 3, 2, 1, oh.
Get over there. We're in their space.
It's going to be on the screen in like 30 seconds. Can I get mod yet?
Can you get what?
Get mod.
Mod what?
Where did I put my mod on mod screen?
Ow.
Oh, is that what fell?
I guess.
All the way down. Yes, it did. Look at that. Is it? Oh. I'll go down. Yes, please.
Hey, it turned on.
It was already on.
It's
Because Anthony's phone.
My
Let me-
phone just fell down.
Let me take a picture of that real quick.
No way. All the way to the ground?
Yeah. Hope you got it up there.
I don't. Oh, Rip, just go with my phone. Oh. I'm just grabbing my phone now because I don't have Apple. Yeah, I didn't use it.
Send to chance.
Look away. Look what he did. Alright. Okay, I'm not even. Go. Gotta talk to
You up? Yeah, follow the ball. Don't go in too tight.
We're getting ready for a second round action. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not feeling the, here come the Coyotes. That'll make your day. Onto the field come the Centennial Coyotes.
Hey, look, it's Spring. You're on YouTube. Yeah, that was it.
What's his face? That was the comment.
Yeah, not problem. Ready? You want to see Anthony's phone? It's Anthony's iPhone 10.
His phone?
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds.
What was his reaction?
He hasn't really said it yet. Yeah, they're audio. Well, I don't
I'm
have
gonna
that.
take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture of it, but I don't like it.
I have video of it.
And the Bobcats are on the field.
I need more of these.
Yeah.
And we're ready for round 2 action. A good game tonight. Coyotes up by 15. We got about 2.5 minutes before the game starts. Don't forget, folks, 15, we need our proud
Sent so many
Don't forget NextCare Urgent. Valley-wide locations, folks. NextCare Urgent Care. And Creative Printing and Packaging for all your commercial printing and lightweight carton manufacturing. Folks, if you need tires, check out Community Tire Pros and Auto Repair for all your tire and auto repair needs. Another fine sponsor, including an old alumni from 1994, Negrete Law Firm, Gil Negrete. And when you're playing some golf, I actually went to pink golf. Once they got these little screens you can shoot at, it's the only way I'm going to hit a golf ball. And don't forget Anthony Baca, Pinnacle Capital Mortgage. You got it. If you need a loan, there's the guy I'd go see. And if you're hurt, you need a little help, maybe a wrecked a car, I do that once in a while, Collision Chiropractic. And don't forget, if you're buying a home or you need some property managed, we got a good one. It's a sponsor, Skidmore Realty and Property Management. And don't go away, we're getting ready for second round football action right here at Centennial High School, home of the Coyotes.
All right, back in action for the second half from Centennial High School as we prepare for the second half kickoff here. It's Coyote country. The Coyotes up on top, 15-0. A dynastic powerhouse of a football program in 5A in the landscape of Arizona football under the great coaching and guidance of Richard Taylor, the great coach from Centennial who is approaching 300 victories. A man who has been here at Centennial from their opening in 1990, so here he is now in his 28th season at the helm of this Coyotes program. Jacob, we were talking about it a little bit during halftime. The Cats have to figure out a way to get Terrell Hayward the football, but in maybe less of an obvious fashion, like not playing quarterback in the Wildcat formation.
Yeah, and they're going with a lot of, we've seen a lot of them in the first half, and it just hasn't been working because that defensive line's been working on the Cienega offensive line. So they're getting to Terrell Hayward quickly. But for Cienega, they need to do all they can to try and win this football game. I know they have 0 points, but this game can mean so much. You know, they have a very good chance of seeing this team in the playoffs, and you just get a lot of confidence that you beat Centennial, a team that beat Bishop Gorman, who 2014, 2015, 2016 was ranked #1 by USA Today, and I know that's not the Bishop Gorman this year, but they're still a good football team.
Right, we were talking about that earlier in the game. Jason Miller along with Braven Bolton, the Matrix, and Jacob Greenberg on Bobcat TV. I want to thank Josh Kramer and his crew for putting everything out here together today. And you're right, Jacob, Bishop Gorman is not the powerhouse program that we are accustomed to seeing. They're more kind of like based on just their name and their reputation. Centennial certainly the real deal. And with a massive offensive and defensive line,
Morales, the quarterback.
And what we're looking at here, I think, is
deep coverage for the
we call it,
number 3,
fight, but it's a war of attrition. It's trench warfare. It's your big bodies up front going against the other team's line, and which team can move the chains forward over the long haul.
Looking at Cienega, probably looking to get Cienega
on the stop.
Terrell Hayward.
Dylan Wampler.
This half for sure.
Right, and I'm sure that was a focal point of the conversation, and I'm sure conversely for Richard Taylor and his Coyotes defense, I'm sure that was their focal point coming into the game. How do we take away number 7, Terrell Hayward, from the Bobcat offense and neutralize him as a weapon? And we're seeing Thomas Webb here, I think, coming in at quarterback.
Yes, he's getting the start at quarterback right now. Unless it's that formation, that diamond formation, it tends to sometimes, Luis and Thomas sometimes switch spots.
Well, Webb on the quarterback draw. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage and is driven back. It was number 32, Connor Knutson, the senior defensive end.
Connor Knutson on this shot.
And Webb is down. It may be one of the situations.
Now we got a player down, and we don't like to see that. So
I know we had like a bit of
get your number here
a
in
tender collarbone,
and
he appears, and last year, like that was part of an issue that he had late in the season in particular. He just fought through it. He's a tough kid. But it looks like he's kind of like favoring that left collar. Last week he also had a bit of a neck issue.
Yep.
You see Kyle Bowen, the head trainer from Cienega, right there at the 25-yard line. So Thomas Webb is down and in extreme pain here, lying on his back. So that was a difficult play and certainly very costly. And of course we wish Thomas Webb Jr. and his family. I know that Claudette, his mother, Thomas Webb Sr. here in attendance tonight. So we wish him the best here, but this does not look good for the Cats and for Thomas Webb Jr.
It does look like he's hurting right now. Looked like it was a blown block, to be honest. It was two defensive tackles just shot right up the gap. It looked like they were untouched. Might have been a miscommunication on the play, or I don't know, but he does look like he's in.
We'll get you a report here, folks.
Just
we
this
want
past
to
week,
make sure he's okay. We don't care what color jersey youngster wears.
Offer.
This is Thomas Webb. So we're just waiting to see how
which school
Thomas
did you
is
get an offer
doing.
from, Jacob?
I forget to which school, but it was one of the smaller schools.
A very
MS, I think it was
He's got some staff coming out to help him out.
Was it Mountain State? I don't know.
So really intelligent player.
It's not Michigan State.
It's not.
Excels academically. Braben, you're in that category. Jacob, you're in that category. You guys are stellar student athletes. Darius Williams in front of us here, a stellar student athlete at Cienega as well. Basketball player with flashes. I always thought that Darius was the most athletic player on Cienega's team when he was out there on the floor. That's what I thought. A guy who could score 17 to 20 points a game
Very
with
similar to Kevin Durant's play style.
That kind of style, right?
And we're
Obviously
certainly
not
Thomas
as
is
big,
hoping for the best, folks.
right? Because KD is what, 6'11"?
6'11", yeah.
6'11" with point guard skills.
Right.
But Darius, very fluid athletic player. So Thomas being attended to here at the 25. Pat Nugent comes out here to check on his player. Thomas Webb is an integral piece of this team. A captain, an emotional leader, somebody who leads by example, somebody who's all business. I saw him earlier today in passing. We were at Cienega's campus. We were about ready to head off, and I rode up here with Eric Tatham and Kyle Bowen's training staff, so the student trainers at Cienega, and I just happened to cross paths very quickly, very briefly, with Terrell Hayward, Thomas Webb Jr., and Luis Morales Jr. So I saw all those three guys in succession. Safe travels, good luck tonight, knowing that it's a huge game here. And I think that the Cats, at least in terms of effort, they've brought the effort tonight. And I also think that they were not daunted by the challenge of playing a powerhouse at their home field. So that doesn't mean that they've played flawless football, because they've made mistakes with 3 turnovers, but the effort has been there. And I think that they have certainly stepped up to the challenge here, playing very competitively against a dynamite program in Centennial.
A couple turnovers go a different way. Even they don't score on the couple turnovers that they just picked up and happen to get a touchdown.
Right.
On. Completely different game. And it's not like to say Cienega's out of this game. It's only 0. It's only a 2-score game right now.
I know, but it's such a demoralizing injury that we're looking at here with Thomas, because my speculation would be that he's not going to be here playing today.
He's up, folks. Let's have a round of applause.
He's sitting up here. And we know how tough that Thomas is.
Thomas Webb.
I have to say, I love this public address announcer. Such a positive.
Looking at a great ball player out there. We're glad to have you up, Thomas Webb.
We're watching very closely here.
Let's have a round of applause. He's to your side. We're glad to have you
on his
up.
own accord going across the field. But we're talking about a kid that's a starting safety, who's a great cover safety. He plays the hybrid safety / linebacker, where he'll often be up in the box as a cover linebacker / safety. He's also a running back, the bulldozing running back in short yardage situations, and also a quarterback. So now Luis Morales Jr., the starting quarterback, comes out here. He's going to have to make some throws. And he's made throws on target that receivers have let him down by not catching the football. 3rd and 11. Morales back to throw. He's under pressure. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
He'll be sacked.
That pocket just collapsed around him, and there's nowhere to go.
On the stop for the Coyotes, Xavier Garcia.
Number 51, the junior nose tackle. Now with 2.5 sacks on the season.
And the kicker.
And the kicker.
And out comes the punt
This is
team.
a big drive for the defense, momentum-wise, inspirationally-wise, and emotionally-wise. Whoever the leader's on defense, I'm thinking it's going to be number 1, Diego, right?
Diego Rivas.
Diego Rivas. Is that right, number 1, the linebacker?
For Cienega? Yeah, Diego Rivas.
And then Terrell Hayward, of course, as the safety.
Yep.
They're going to have to be, there for their team right now.
A.J. Jackson.
They know.
Well, the Cats now.
Now let it bounce.
Matthias Slattery, who is a natural
Right about
punter at the
the
position.
25-yard line.
So number 62.
First and down for the Coyotes at their own
with him
25.
briefly on campus at Cienega. I just said good luck tonight. I didn't know who he was because he hasn't played yet this season. But Matthias Slattery with a nice punt here, putting the ball down at the 25-yard line of Centennial. Well, the Cats on defense, at least, the adjustment that they'll have to make, and I would imagine we could see Chris Burrows, number 23, coming in at safety. So there's Chris Burrows at that safety position. Now, he's relatively undersized for the Cats at 5'8", 134, but he has a knack for making plays. Last week, he recovered a kickoff, a regular kickoff, at around the opponent's 35-yard line. Very athletic.
Off the left
He's
side,
not afraid to
get out
make
to
a
the
tackle
30-yard
as Chris Burrows brings his man down to the 30-yard line. So 134 pounds.
Mark Jacob
He's
on the
all
carry.
out there as a
He's coming in there
flyweight.
hitting right now.
Yes.
It's a big play for him to make. Coming
Yes.
in,
Burrows on the stop.
Thomas Webb, coming in, you got to put your head down, go to work. You're coming in the third quarter, 9 minutes left, 15-0. No one's making that tackle. You got to go in there and get your nose ready.
Not
Very good
afraid
play by
to
him.
be out there. Sebastian Felix, number 29, also out there at safety for the Cats. And Luis Morales Jr., the quarterback, also playing at safety, going both ways. We'll see how long he's out there. He's a great cover safety as well. 2nd down and 5 for Centennial. Man comes in motion near side, and it's a handoff to the left side. Nice tackle there by the Cats. It was number 54 for Cienega. And
Nothing
that's
there.
DiMaggio Streve. So
Third down for the
DiMaggio,
Coyotes.
the junior, 6'2", 225 on the tackle. No gain in the play. It's 3rd and 6.
Plays like that is just what they need to get them some momentum here.
Big stop right there. They can get a 3 and out. Huge.
Yeah.
Well, the offensive line for Centennial, if we go left tackle to right tackle, 290, 290, 285, 280, 318. The Cats, conversely, 250, 225, 255, 230 on their defensive front. So a big advantage in terms of mass for Centennial. Play action, quarterback rolls to his right. All ball nearly intercepted, and that was through the
That one could have been
Sebastian Felix.
down for the Coyotes.
Regardless, a big play there on 3rd down for Cienega.
Quarterback coming across his body, trying to make that cross.
Right, good
throw right there.
Good point. As a left-handed quarterback rolling to his right, it's difficult to kind of like pivot your shoulders and get ready to throw the football. That's a great point there, Braven.
Bring up someone that I've never seen do better than that.
Terrell Hayward back deep to receive.
It's Tyler Hammonds. He could be on the run on the left or right and still get the ball 30.
A.J. Jackson to punt for the Coyotes.
Down the field on a comeback route or something.
Hammonds put up excellent numbers. Here's a fake punt here, and an interesting call here. He's going to
he's
pay
got it
dividends
a lot
for
more.
Centennial. Big play on the play and a
Jackson
gutsy call at the right
big
time.
First down
And it's
close to
A.J.
the 45.
Guess that's why
30 yards.
they pay this coach the big bucks. He's not afraid to make calls like that.
Why not?
Why not?
At that point in the game,
Ball
nobody's
at the
thinking
45,
that.
first and 10,
8:25 in the
Centennial.
third quarter. Richard Taylor's thinking that, and his special teams coach is thinking that as well.
That one's got to hurt. So you get a good defensive stop there, ready to get the ball back and just stop by
As we
a
discussed,
fake
it caught
punt.
me off guard. I was talking to Jaco. I was like, I hope we get this 3 and out. The punting went out there.
Yep.
I was like, wow, we actually got this 3 and out of nowhere.
Well, it's like boxing. It's almost like a flash knockdown. You get popped with a shot. You're not expecting it. And now the Cats here reeling on defense, and they're just trying to figure out like what's happening. 1st and 10, back to throw. Flare pass comes to the near side. Ball's caught, missed tackle. Across the 40 to the 30-yard line.
What a block there by number. Let me get that youngster's number.
J.L. Stark, number 10 on the reception. Tackled ultimately by DiMaggio Streve.
That was number 17 on the block. What a block here in Clark.
28-yard line of Cienega. Well, I think if you're
J.L.
looking at from the
Stark on
coach's
the
box
carry.
up above,
1st and 10,
they're
Kyle.
looking at Cienega, they're looking at Chris Burrows, 23, and they're saying, here's somebody who, yeah, he's gritty, he's scrappy, he's fast, but he's
fresh in the game,
undersized.
He's new.
Yes.
He's coming in. He's not warmed up yet. undersized player, of course.
Yes. How can we target that weakness in the defense potentially? Handoff goes left side.
Young up off the right side, picks up a few.
I like
Picks up
23.
two.
I like 23.
I do.
He's getting in
I
there.
do. I do
Every
like
tackle.
23.
He's been involved in every play since
Scrappy. He plays big.
he came in, yeah.
He plays big and he plays fearlessly.
And I always love those type of players.
Saw Chris earlier today too. I mean, I've seen a lot of these kids, like maybe 6 or 7 of them, but the last 6 or 7 I've mentioned, like those are the kids that I saw earlier today before they boarded the bus. Very difficult bus ride, about a 2-hour trek. And then sometimes, like, if you're on one side of the bus, is there a moth on my back?
There was.
Thank you, Braven. Doesn't bother me. And Dina Miller, my wife, is, like, terrified of moths, so she has a phobia. There's a nice little pitch to the left side, near side. Ball's down! I think Cienega recovers it. And there's Sergio Torres. Oh, a penalty here late. A gain of 20 on the carry. There's an injured player down in the field. It's A.J. Jackson. So he's being helped up here. Looks like he just kind of slipped awkwardly. But Sergio Torres, 13, a player whom I mentioned earlier, has a knack for finding the football, was there to pounce on that fumble.
Played with his older brother, actually, Eddie.
Eddie Torres.
Yes.
Scrappy player as well.
Scrappy player as
kind of
well,
like the same lineage, cut from the same cloth. Certainly the genealogy's right there. Right. So we have a penalty here, and it's a dead ball foul going against Cienega. So the ball will be a half the distance to the goal, which goes from the 10-yard line to the 5-yard line. So again, looking at it kind of optimistically, but then something negative is mixed in with it. So rather than clean water, a little bit of dirt thrown into it, and it's murky. It's a murky mix. Every time the Cats here have some sort of silver lining, they kind of shoot themselves in the foot with some sort of mental error or mistake. And I know the coaches are losing their minds right now. Another turnover here. This is the second one for Centennial. Relatively sloppy game. And now Cienega pinned down at their 5-yard line. They've got to be careful to get out of this zone and try to avoid a turnover.
Especially the way Morales has been pressured today.
Well, there's Terrell Hayward at quarterback. So Terrell, who can throw the football, running the ball, and it's a safety.
He's fine.
So they have him at the 1-yard line or the 2-yard line. He was driven
right
back
side of the coyote line on the contact.
And I know you want to get Hayward the ball because he's
led by Leandra Harris.
But when everybody in the stadium and everyone on the defense and all the coaches on both teams know that he's going to get the ball
and run either right or left,
it's easier to stop.
Right. Definitely harder, though, I have to say. I mean, back when I played, we had a lot of weapons on offense. We could go a lot of different areas. It was a blessing and a curse, of course, but I can see we're still going shotgun.
A precarious situation. Luis Morales Jr. at quarterback, Caleb Beard flanking him to the left. Luis to throw. He goes deep, far side. Some jostling for position.
Incomplete.
Diego Ruby was the intended target. The man in coverage.
And don't forget, if you want pizza,
Young, right there,
75th Avenue Bell. You need Law, Samuel Moeller, and Cairo Plus Chiropractor up. Fine sponsors.
Yes, excellent cover corners.
Yeah. I would like to see number 7 get out there a little bit on maybe a far throw. He's a very special receiver that sometimes even when the player is step by step with them, he can make things happen.
Right, I agree. Able to elevate,
Kyle's lining him up.
Smaller in stature, super athletic, hyper athletic I would say, and agile as a cat. 3rd down and 13. Morales standing in his own end zone, Cats going left to right. Big 3rd down play. Luis rolls to his left, fires to his left. It'll be a gain of about 7 or maybe 8 to Hayward.
Don't forget Tough Needle mattresses.
Tackle on the play.
You need a mattress as we want.
Brooks.
You need a new car. Arrowhead Lexus. And don't forget Fly High Investigations to see
real
who is your
estate
daughter
for
dating.
Cienega's punter coming out here to hopefully get them some field position. So Matthias Slattery, number 62, the junior, 6'0", 170, out there standing a step inside of the end line of his own end zone.
Big punt here, 62.
Between the T and the E in Coyotes.
Back deep to receive, A.J. Jackson.
The flag of Arizona is emblazoned into the end zone. Low snap!
You're good, stay calm.
Oh, very
Gets it off,
under pressure there.
good.
Rolls it, and there's a fumble! And I think it's recovered by Centennial at their 27-yard line of Cienega.
Well, they got away with that one, and the Coyotes will have the ball just around the 27-yard line. First and 10, Centennial.
Snapping from the long snapper for the Cats. And I know that Matthias was scrambling
And don't
there
forget
and anxiously trying to pick that ball up.
chiropractic
His back was to the play. He had no idea that he had time, and you were telling him to calm down, but he had no idea because he was expecting some heat and some pressure.
Good job to stay calm there.
At least to get it off, and he got a very low line drive of a punt off.
Right.
And now Centennial in great field position.
Even for him to get the ball out there, I mean, it's been pressure on the punter. Even with Thomas, you know, when was punting, we made it earlier, they were right in his face.
Skipping snaps off of the grass.
Very nerve-wracking, you know.
Jonathan Morris hands the ball off, comes near side.
Spinning down close to the 25.
Mark Jacob on the carry. And he'll pick up 2 on the rush.
Mark Jacob. Now, folks, don't forget if you need to fill Reliance still on aluminum. Uh-oh, we've got an athlete down.
Third quarter.
Got an athlete down.
Centennial on top, 15-0. There's a cat down. It's DiMaggio Streve.
Oh, he tried, yeah, that youngster
looks like he's got a little bit of cramping there in the right leg.
Folks.
And cramping when you have this kind of heat. And we're talking about 102 degrees Fahrenheit on a blistery, humid Friday evening. And we'll see Kyle Bowen here.
Yeah, looks like
it's Kyle Bowen, and then Jacob. Who was the kiddo that was riding up with us in the van today? Do you know that guy's name?
He was Dylan.
So Dylan's down there as well, a student trainer here. Each guy has a leg. It's almost like a wishbone, but they're stretching DiMaggio's legs back toward his helmet here.
You just
stretch out his calf and stretch out his hamstring.
We're glad to see that it's working a cramp.
They're not pulling his legs. They're not
well,
doing
they're just working cramps. We normally don't announce our sponsors, but while you're working a cramp there, Lerner and Roll Injury Wires.
Coyote down at the 35.
They're there if you need them, and a great sponsor, including Sunland Asphalt. If you want it paved, they can pave it. And if you need a roof, you want diversified roofing.
To thank some of our sponsors, Proactive Physical Therapy, Pyramid Federal Credit Union, Radiology Limited, Rincon Air Conditioning and Heating, Rivas Custom Builders, the specialists in dermatology, Steamy Concepts, don't get steamed, call Steamy, Swaim Associates, Vantage West Credit Union, and Walker Family Medicine. We have 2 players down in the field. There is a Coyote who's been helped up now, and that was number 7, Tawee Walker, the senior running back, the tailback, transferred from Las Vegas, and DiMaggio Streve, the junior offensive and defensive lineman, who is in extreme pain out there.
He was
about to get up, and then
he tried to get up, and his legs are just rubbery, unable to stand up.
Big shout out to Kyle. And,
great trainer.
Great trainer. Really, Cienega's training program was already
fantastic
good before he came, but he really did, you know, take it to the next level.
He did.
He redid the training room. I never even saw it. It was after, you know, we graduated.
Right.
But I saw pictures of it. It's real cool of him to do something like that, you know, take the time out of his day. I mean, or a couple days actually, you know, and paint the entire place.
Yes, it makes a big difference.
Out of Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, Detroit.
Went to Central Michigan, where Antonio Brown went.
Oh, fascinating. 6'6"? He's a tennis player. I think tennis is his primary sport. And I remember asking him, like, I just assumed he was a volleyball player. He's like, no, tennis was my sport, and I forget his secondary sport.
Spoiler, I will never grade you on
He looks like a volleyball player. For sure. Celebrated his birthday recently. I want to say he's 20, maybe 30. 30 might seem old, but I think he's, not that it's old, but I think he's 30 years old. He just celebrated his birthday last Friday night.
Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Being assisted by not
we
one,
are glad to see you up, son.
Raven, here's something I have to say about Cienega. They
have
a lot of players that play multiple positions on both sides of the football, and at some point in time, especially in these kind of torrid conditions with the humidity,
folks, we're getting fixed in here to start letting our
naturally wear and break down, and it's got to be a disadvantage for Cienega because they have kids who are not at optimal performance levels because they're a little bit winded or they're gassed. It has to be a factor.
That's why Coach Sween, shout out to Coach Sween as well.
Fantastic.
He takes conditioning, strength and conditioning so serious. That's the only way you can come out here and play an entire game. If you take those, you know, practice days seriously and everything like that, we've got a screenplay here.
Morris screen near side.
Young
in the end zone for a touchdown. So 26 yards, and it was a beautiful screen. Centennial loves running their screenplays, but a very patient play there from Morris to just flip the football, almost like a shuffle pass to Young in the flat near side, and Jaden Young 27 yards on the touchdown reception.
Yeah, Not only did he get that touchdown, he averaged just 10.5 tackles on the defensive side of the ball, too.
Two-way player, another one we were just talking about.
Leads the team in tackles.
Very nice. Cienega has to stay together here. It's only a 3-score game. Seen worse.
3 scores, but in dog years almost. You can put a multiplier or not maybe an exponent, but 21 points.
Right.
It's a huge deficit here.
Right.
It's good as Garcia gets it over the crossbar. And with 5.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, it's the Coyotes up by 22.
And I have to say, Jacob,
speaking of up, don't forget Ruby's Country Store and Barbecue.
Somebody from Max Preps.
They've got a good barbecue. I like it myself.
This game. Yep. What was the prediction?
But if my plumbing was broke, I'd be going to Donnelly Air Conditioning and Plumbing. I'm telling you, Mr. Nichols, that's where I'd be going, sir.
27%.
And don't forget, if I fell off the roof, I need to get back in shape. Cairo Fit would be my place to go.
The Arizona Republic, azcentral.com. Anybody who is a quote-unquote prognosticator, they have no idea what they are doing, typically, and they just pull random numbers out of a hat.
Yeah.
That's a crazy amount of points for a Cienega Bobcat team that, number one, is not as prolific as they have been in recent years under Jamari Joyner, and number two, going against a stalwart defense here in Centennial.
Right.
So whoever put that up there, I don't know what you were thinking.
Tucson.com said 38-27 Centennial.
Hayward back deep to help
at least
out
that's
on
more
receiving.
realistic, but again, pulling numbers out of a hat.
Yeah, they're from Tucson. What do they know about Centennial?
Exactly.
Looks like we got Diego Ribeye back there also.
Real confusing how they said we were going to put 48 up on Centennial after our first game. Was Choya, right?
Right. I mean, Cienega put up 48 on Choya, but Choya was like decimated by injuries. A program that is in a deep state of rebuilding.
Thomas on return, not bad field position. Sit out around the 35. Speaking of not bad at all, Sun Devil Heating and Cooling will keep your house cool and keep it nice. Don't forget McAllister Deli for serving smiles with every meal. As long as you're doing eating, having a good time, here's all that JLC Roofing. Do all your roofing needs for you.
We're seeing tonight from Cienega.
Contact JLC, great services, fast and reliable.
And Brett Darling, the defensive coordinator.
Don't forget
Jeff
if you need some
the whiz kid,
Bridges Works, some teams done orthodontic, Shipley Ortho. Shipley smiles are perfect smiles.
How severe this challenge was coming into the game tonight. And an early test can do nothing but positive things for this team in terms of letting them know what they have to build toward. Here's a program, quite frankly, in Cienega that I feel is chasing Centennial. Centennial is the standard. They are the gold standard. And Cienega would love to be at that level. Cienega is a high-level program, one of the elites in Southern Arizona.
No gain on the play. Waffler on the stop for the Coyotes. Well, maybe
I think you play smash-mouth football, number one. You play stalwart defense and you tackle kids. You put hats on hats and make plays. And three, you develop your strength and conditioning program, which under Steve Schween, Cienega is doing. So I think they're moving in the right direction. They're close, but they've got some work to do. And you just need an athlete here and maybe a lineman there to get you over
keeper up the middle, Adrian Villa, number 14 on the carry.
Yeah, I think both of these
runs
schools
into that left side of the Coyote line.
So they have to build from the freshman year up. I was just talking to a freshman down at the snack bar. Name is Jacob too. And he said they're 0-2 and they want to win this next game. But going 0-2,
another reminder, half price for Coyote Dog and Pizza.
They
I know
build you
Mr.
every year.
Nichols up there is going to be picking up a few, about 30 dozen right there, sir.
4:15 on the clock. Third quarter. Cats looking, we've seen it so
fans
often.
Are saying, get on your feet, Ian, help them out.
Diamond formation on the far side, one receiver near side. Luis Morales Jr. back to throw. Takes 3 steps, fires a screen. The intended receiver is hit instantly. Pass incomplete. 42.
Intended receiver looked like going to make a great catch of Sebastian Felix, but Dylan Whopper just breaks that up, and that'll be 4th and long.
To make a move with something like that, it should have been.
Back deep to receive for the Coyotes, number 23, A.J. Jackson.
Number 42, the senior linebacker, with a whopping hit on that one, instantly breaking up the intended target. So now Cienega has Matthias Slattery out there to punt, standing
Matthias Slattery to punt.
There's a nice snap. Had to rush that one. He's under some pressure. Takes a bit of a Cienega roll here.
It's going to let it go.
And we'll go down
Smart
to
move right about the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Centennial.
So a punt on the play.
Speaking of first, don't forget, Your CEHS, your Centennial High School Booster Club, they've got all kinds of wearing apparel, hats, shirts, you name it. And they've got shaved ice, which is absolutely delicious.
Pass catcher. They had
Also want to remember that we're going to have coming up, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
They don't have that. Cienega has Ethan White at 6'2", but he doesn't have quite the same skill set that Trey White had. No relation, just the same last name.
Skylar Kavanaugh the year before.
Right, Skylar Kavanaugh, tight end.
At receiver.
Right, Caleb Boss, the big target.
Was a crazy year. We had Terrell Hayward out there.
Yes.
With us as well.
Yes.
He's a sophomore, came in, and still playing at the same level.
Oh, play action, complete on the outside, makes something out of nothing.
Another.
Hey, speaking of cup, we need a couple bags of kettle corn. It's right over here by the snack bar, that's right.
Play at the next level.
A lot of corn's good, but kettle corn's the best. And folks, don't forget,
him as a projection.
Kyle Dogs, Kyle
numbers.
Half
But
price.
his size, his stature, and his skill set.
On the reception, Eric Reedy for the Coyotes.
To the next level.
Yeah, he understood football. His IQ was
very highly intelligent, no doubt. And Kia Bost, his sister, also very tall, super intelligent, one of the basketball players.
Right.
She was like, she was low key, like snarky. Like she was a very interesting person. We have a penalty
Flag out of
down
play.
a false start going against Centennial. So it'll be second down and 12. 3:09 on the clock. Centennial Coyotes up 22-0 over Cienega. I might lose 5 pounds tonight just in like water weight. I don't know if that's healthy. I don't think it is, but
I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to
You're
feel
starting to
myself
feel
get
it?
lighter.
Braben, last year, the week 1 game that Cienega played was at Marana High School. And in that game, I was dehydrated, and it hit me late in the 4th quarter. It was a crazy shootout. I think it was like 57-50.
I was
Cienega.
watching that broadcast.
And then I was speaking gibberish. Whatever I was trying to say did not come out. So there's a nice
That is down. Incomplete. Boy, they just come running.
And you wonder if Zach could have maybe
Now just a
caught
little
that
note here, the little
football
Coyote Clinic
rather
for
than bat it down with
kindergartners
both
to
hands. At this
eighth
stage of the
grade,
game,
September
with 2:38
15th, 9 to
in the
noon,
third quarter,
performing at the
Cienega needs to make some
21st
kind
of September right
magical
here.
plays
See any
to
coach
have
or
a
spirit
chance to
member.
climb back in this game.
Right.
They're down 3 scores, so it'll be some combination of 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion or 2 to try to tie this game. So they have to make something special happen here, and they've got to do it quickly. A debilitating play earlier on a 4th down and 8 and a fake punt here from Centennial, and now a hard snap.
I saw that one coming.
So now it's going to be 3rd down and 7, a much more manageable 3rd and 7. And I have to say, in terms of like managing the game, Jonathan Morris, the junior quarterback here from Centennial, has been superb.
Very cool, calm, collected QB.
Efficient as a passer.
QB, yes.
Highly accurate.
Consistent in his intermediate throws. Even had 1 long ball.
Prototypical high school quarterback, a dual threat who can make things happen with his legs.
Yeah, only a junior.
Very poised in the pocket. Awareness of the pocket. Cienega's had a difficult time putting pressure on him. And again, I think you have to look at that massive offensive line of Centennial as being a key. Now he eludes the rush. He's got open space near side, showing off the awareness and the moxie. Slides down here, but not after a pickup of 33 yards on the play by Jonathan Morris.
Out across midfield.
So as if on cue,
They're going to
there's
down it
Morris
right
showing
at
his football
Bobcat
IQ.
45, 1st and 10, Centennial.
By the refs, I know it's not that big of a deal right now, but it looked like he slid up and around the 40-yard line rather than the 44.
Right. So not a great spot, but still a big pickup. So we'll call it 30 yards on the game here from Jonathan Morris. 5'11", 170. And he surveys the Bobcat defense, which has to be winded here. Handoff, play action, nice play action fake. Rolls to his right, throws down the field.
Action.
And it's a gain of 25 yards and a catch and a 1st down. And it's number 15, Eric Haney, the junior wide receiver with a catch. A nice throw. Again, rolling to his right as a lefty and then pivoting and then throwing with his left. And a great play
It was
action.
Eric Haney on the reception. 1st and downs, 1st and 10, Centennial.
So able to sell that. 1st down and 10, 1:45 on the clock. Centennial at the 22-yard line of Cienega. We have a penalty going down here.
Still on his feet. Walker on the carry down to around the 50, but we got flags on the play.
Here going against
So let's let the officials figure it out.
Big hit by 29 coming up from the safety position, leading the running back right there in open space, stopping him. Get a wrap up, but his teammate.
Don't forget Shamrock Farms. It's the best farms in the valley.
Legal motion penalty. Again, let's look at the offensive line here. Caden Miles, the sophomore at left tackle. So I was talking to his father, Boyd Miles, before the game. Super nice gentleman. 6'4", 290 for the sophomore. George Rader the fourth, number 77 at left guard, 6'1", 290. The center, Carson Keltner, the senior, 6'2", 285. The right guard, Jake Fife, the senior, number 70, 6'3", 280. And the right tackle, Oscar Abundis, the sophomore, 6'5", 318. And they sub in Andy Belmontes, who's 6'0", 260. So that's grade A, double A American prime beef out there on the offensive line.
Straight through on his feet,
going their way forward
close to the tip, but we got flags on the play. And speaking of those flags, don't forget the Rockin' Protein, the official protein beverage.
The call is here. It's a gain of about 13, but it will come back. There's a false start going against that grade double A beef offensive line here from Centennial.
And that's something that is often forgotten about, I think, about my graduating class.
Right.
Because our line was something different. We had Bryce Fontana.
Right.
Honestly, he's at Scottsdale right now, still playing. He's starting over there at Scottsdale. One of the best football players I've ever seen in my whole life. Just whether it was leadership, tenacity, intensity, just wanting to win, you know what I'm saying?
Technique.
Making plays.
Offensive and defensive line playing both ways.
Parker Gallipo, Carter Clark.
Parker Gallipo is excellent too.
Dante Bodie's also at Scottsdale right now.
Yes, and that was, listen, that was a huge loss last year for Cienega when he went out early in the game against Notre Dame Prep.
Walker still on his feet. Look at this kid run.
Making his way to the 1-yard line.
That is a highlight play right there.
31 yards on the carry
Boy,
by
he picked
Tyree
up blocks
Walker.
and he just took her down.
Oh, that's definitely going on his highlight reel.
Great downfield block by Kate Miles, number 74. Tyree Walker.
Very difficult to watch. You have a team that is resilient and scrappy in Cienega. And now it's come to the point, almost a breaking point here, where this talented, well-coached, massive offensive front from Centennial is imposing their will and trying to break the defense here as the horn sounds.
And that's the end of the third quarter.
22-0.
And the Coyotes up 22-0 in a good game. Don't go away. Hey, and this reminds me of AAA. That's right, AAA Auto Club here. Peoria, service the Thunderbird. Auto repair, insurance needs, roadside assistance. We just had a battery put in.
And it's not effort.
They'll help
it's a combination of size, which is, you cannot fight against
and
this.
Right now, I can tell you this for sure.
Nature that we're seeing here
Coyote Dogs,
with the Centennial
Coyote
offensive and defensive
pizzas,
line.
half price at the snack. And if you want something to eat,
ever
get some
had
of
an
those
offensive line like
Kelly or some shaved ice.
They would
It's
have
all
won
there.
at least one, maybe 2 state titles in the last 10 years. If you had a comparable offensive line.
Yeah.
Because that's the one missing ingredient that we've seen in this Bobcat team over the years.
For Cienega, this senior class, you know, their freshman team, their JV team, now the varsity team from last year, they haven't lost a regular season game. So I wondered what it's like feeling for them being, you know, on that field down 22-0 in their first regular season game.
It's a great
Got
point.
12 minutes to make it right.
That's quite a streak that Cienega has run in the regular season. And they've had several chances where you think that they're right there. Last year, it seemed destined that Cienega would replay Centennial from that matchup, the Final Four matchup of the previous year. And you kind of thought, at least I thought, that, yeah, Centennial would be favored, no doubt about it. Zane Thomas is on a different level of running back. Like, he is a clear-cut blue-chip prospect at running back at Division I with a chance, if things go well and right for him in college, to move on to the next level and play professionally at running back. But I always thought that Cienega, with Jamari Joyner as a senior, as we see Tyree Walker go over the top for a touchdown. 1-yard touchdown plunge by Tawee Walker.
Tawee Walker gets it on for the Coyotes. Gets up on
maybe be in that game,
big front
maybe
line.
do something special early, have
Up
some
and
home
over,
support,
and the
got
Coyotes
Arizona
are in the
Stadium
end zone.
with home fans, and maybe South Point's fans would stick around and root for Cienega. Not outside the realm of possibility. I always thought that that's a matchup that I just wish that would have happened, because I wanted to see what could have happened.
I wish we could have Centennial in the championship, that 2017 year.
A juicy matchup.
Oh my goodness.
Garcia gets it up. It's good.
Fours go up from the Cienega players, which is I don't know if they stopped doing that tradition.
What tradition is that?
Putting your 4 fingers up for the 4th quarter.
Oh, I don't know. Those are little nuances that I miss sometimes.
I haven't seen it this year.
I miss the little details because I'm looking at a larger picture. Usually writing down, like, after plays, I'm writing down, like, scoring plays, and I'm busy or preoccupied with other things. So
so I didn't see, and that's always like a little thing that we notice as like the players. I don't know if it's a morale thing.
Back deep to receive, Diego Ruba and Terrell Hayward. Back deep.
I'll throw some names, Braven, out there. I ran into heading out to the bathroom at halftime.
And kicking for the Coyotes, Xavier Garcia.
2011 team that went to the state title game. I saw Ronnie Burton, who is also a player that was on that 2011 state title team that lost to Scottsdale Chaparral. Devontae Neal was the blue chip prospect that went to Notre Dame and then transferred to Arizona. They converted him from running back to cornerback. But I saw those guys. There are a lot of players, you're part of that group too, that were elite on the field, off the field, high character guys. It's good to see like a lot of the players come back to Cienega, and they're like the Hall of Famers from Cienega High School. So I saw those guys too earlier.
Breaks loose on his feet, still fighting. I like a good scrap.
Diego Ruby on the return
here.
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention?
And the public address announcer says a scrappy return. And it was that across to the 25-yard line by the senior, Diego Ruby.
North 78 Drive, if you've got a car with license plate, BVJ for your military guys, Bravo Victor Juliet, BVJ 2851. BVJ 2851. You need to get that moved immediately. Please, you are blocking the driveway and they need to get out. Thank you.
Somebody parked their car. Bravo Victor Juliet's military alphabet code there. 2581 immediately moved that car. I think the public address announcer's first name is Michael, as Caleb Beard gets the carry. Caleb, a senior, another intelligent kid. He's one of my TAs, actually, second period. So he gets the handoff, comes to the near side, picks up a yard. Difficult here, right? And I know the coaching staff coming into the game, they looked at this as a positive, and whatever happened, knowing that it would be a very difficult task to win on the road at Centennial. Swing pass here goes to Beard, far side, makes the catch, lowers his shoulder, picks up an additional
on the stop, number 9 for the Coyotes, Eric Sirefield. Folks, please get that car moved. You are blocking the driveway, and they're going to have to call the police department. The owner was kind enough to come up.
But potentially, if it's a collarbone or a shoulder injury,
it's a great milestone.
Injury that could set him back.
BVJ 2851. You're in front of 14326 North 78 Drive. You do need to move it, please.
Yes. But that's a tremendous loss for this team to try to withstand. Morales under pressure, sacked.
The Coyotes come a-calling.
Well, what we're seeing here now is a leaky ship.
Derek Janarski.
Leaky ship, no one looks like they're willing to plug the holes right now.
Dylan Wampler, 42 on the tackle. Eli Tabanico, number 53, also there in the mix. But I think the flaws, the weaknesses of this team are exposed. We knew coming into the year that they lost the explosivity of Jamari Joyner just via graduation. So that player is irreplaceable. Luis Morales Jr. has been serviceable and excellent at times at quarterback. Very
Jackson
poised,
F50.
but difficult for him to find time to throw the football. He's been under duress the entire night.
Right at the 50-yard line.
Good here from the Cats.
In on the stop, there's a lot. We'll give this one to number 11, Elijah Amico on the stop.
Elijah Amico Amico. Shout out Miss Amico, Mr. Amico, Nathan Amico, Josh Amico, and Andrew Amico.
All the amigos.
All the amigos.
We want to thank you, Cat fans, for tuning in tonight. We know it's been a difficult one to watch, but you had to know coming in that it was going to be a challenge, right? And you always try to think positively about the chances, about the opportunities. And we're just seeing here a team that is brilliantly coached and that just has a clear-cut advantage just in terms of size on the offensive and defensive lines. That's a very difficult thing to overcome.
And if these teams somehow meet again in the playoffs, which is very possible, Cienega did have their chances.
They did have their chances, Jacob, especially early in the game.
They just need to keep that in mind if they meet again.
It was a game early. It was a game up to the half.
Little mistakes,
big mistakes, and then things have fallen apart here in the second half.
That injury with Thomas off the first play from the second half, so
major. But the difficulty in protecting Luis Morales Jr. at quarterback, some receivers that should have caught balls that were dropped, and then I think a lack of another target or another weapon in that receiving core.
Yeah,
they're going to have to figure out some things here, and they'll have some time. The schedule will get easier next week, next Friday night. Is Sunnyside coming to town next Friday, Jacob?
Trying to get outside. Looks going to have a little room.
Tawee Walker comes near side, and Tawee Walker will skip into the end zone. 50 yards for the touchdown. Punctuating this game here tonight.
50-yard run by Tawee Walker.
Looks like Tucson.com is right about the 37 part for the Centennial Coyotes, but not the 28 for the Cienega Bobcats.
Right. That's coming in the next 9 minutes. Watch. Okay. That's what they were. That's what they
meant.
Okay.
Crazy action. I'll pull out the schedule here. We'll take a look at it.
Gonzalez to kick. It's up. It looks like it may have been blocked. But the Coyotes now with 9.5 to go by 35.
Friday the 14th. We'll look forward and ahead to this game. They'll take on Rincon University High School. And then they go to Mountain View. And then, so the schedule alternates. The Cats are on the road. They're at home. So Rincon next Friday, then at Mountain View. Sunnyside comes into the town, then they go to Buena. Then Marana at home. That is a huge game, and I would have to say that Marana would be favored in that game because of their quarterback, Trenton Bourget, who was listed, I think, as the #1 athlete in Southern Arizona. Jacob, is that where he was listed or ranked?
Yeah,
Bijan Robinson was number 2.
Wow.
Terrell Haywood was number 3.
Yes.
In the Arizona Daily Star's list of top 25 Southern Arizona football players or prospects. Then at Nogales, then Iron Ridge. So if you look at the schedule for the Cats, Rincon, winnable, certainly. I mean, that should be a win. At Mountain View, winnable. That should be a close game, though. Sunnyside, I don't know. I haven't followed Sunnyside, so I don't know where they are. But they're usually scrappy and competitive. Buena should be a win. Marana, difficult.
22.
Marana should be favored
David
in that game.
Clark, number 7, Terrell Haywood.
Ridge, always
for the
difficult.
Bobcats.
So we're looking here at the end of the schedule.
Kicking is Xavier Garcia for the Coyotes.
7 wins is very attainable. A 7-3 record potentially achievable. Maybe an 8-2 season. Maybe 9-1. Like all of those things are in the realm of possibility.
Number 41. Dylan Silva does a great job of coming up with the ball and downing it.
Kickoff recovery.
Just off right about the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats.
So it's difficult here to look at the schedule for the Cats, right? Coming in 2-0, but certainly deceptive because they played a Choya team that was terrible. They played a Sunny Slope team that was missing their best weapon at running back. I forget his name, the running back. Zamoy
Penn.
Zamoy Penn, number 15. He
15.
didn't play last week for Sunny Slope, so now a loss here. I'm just going to calibrate and look ahead and kind of look at this record and see what we're looking at here. So I think
Morales at the quarterback spot.
7-3 is possible. 8-2 is a possibility. 6-4 might be a probability too. Like all those things are in the realm of possibility. But regardless, the Cats should be in the playoffs.
To the outside.
Will they host a playoff game?
Not much there.
Is a bigger question. Right. So not accustomed
Eli
to
Tiffany
not
go on to
hosting
stop
not only
for the
one, but
Coyotes.
2 games as either the 1, the 2, or the 3 seed in the 5A state playoffs. But I'm just looking ahead here And I can easily project Cienega going 7-3, maybe 8-2. And I tell you, Braben, the fans here at Cienega are not accustomed to that.
Right.
They're accustomed to 10-0 seasons,
Yes.
9-1 seasons,
Exactly.
but really 10-0 the last couple of years.
So I hope to those that are watching or those who are coming to the games that it is most important for you guys to be here in the 7-3 seasons.
Right.
You know, the 6-4 seasons. I remember my junior year, we were 6-4.
Up off the right side of the up line.
Games or anything like that. It was a big summer for us. We turned
Caleb
around.
Beard on the carry. On the stop for the Coyotes, MJ
Most important
Walker.
for, you know, if we're coming this way with a little bit of less, you know, energy or momentum as a program, that, you know, more fans are there for us. I mean, for Cienega. To, you know, hopefully keep us here instead of dropping, you know, lower to like another 6-4 season.
Right, and I also think that for the fans out there too, Cienega certainly appreciates your support. You also have to have some perspective about how good things have been under
Complete
Nima
midfield. He
and
picked up
Pat
the first,
Nugent.
but hit hard. Oh, flag on
Big
the
catch there for the Cats, and a big hit was laid out. Number 83 on the reception. I think that's Tony Brown.
Yes.
So Tony Brown, the junior, number 83 on the catch.
Lane on the
He took a
stop.
big hit.
Good catch there.
And Tony's a scrappy player, so he popped up and he came up clapping.
Right.
So that was a roughness call there going against Centennial as well.
Another interesting call to me. It was a good hit. Tony got up. Tony knows it was a good hit and made the catch.
Tony can talk, man. Tony is
Wave
Tony's
it
a
off.
chatterbox.
Just wave that off. No
I like
penalty.
it. I saw him get up. and
But it
start
is a
running.
first down at the 39.
6'2",
Yeah, you hit me,
170.
but I caught it. You hit me, but I caught it. Let me give you my 13 yards. Thank you.
So Tony coming out here, and maybe Tony can make an impression and be one of those players that factors into the mix at wide receiver.
He's very confident about himself.
Right.
Terrell Hayward out of the game right now. Something to bring up.
Right, and you've got to protect, at this point, you've got to protect your players. Luis Morales Jr. still out there slinging away, targeting Ethan White, but the ball was deflected by Centennial's
MJ Walker,
Dylan Wampler.
hey folks, we still got those Coyote dogs and pizza.
Sergio
We've
Torres
got
played a
actually
good
got
game tonight.
folks going
Sergio
through the
did
stands
some
selling
plays
water and
out there
Gatorade. So
for Cienega.
let's get down that snack break. Last chance to
You
pick
like
up
Chris Burrow,
Coyote
so do I,
dogs and
Braven.
Coyote pizza.
He's a scrappy kid as well.
Half off, don't forget, 50% off.
He'll factor in at the safety position as well.
Junior,
He's a senior. Sebastian Felix, the sophomore, number 29, out there at safety as well. So Cienega trying to, and also at wide receiver. So Cienega trying to give some kids here some opportunities to make some plays, because there might be a bit of a shakeup on the offensive, at least from the receiver.
No one here incomplete. Again, I got to tell you, where else can you
Gotta run
get
clean routes and
half
gotta hold on to the
off
football.
a Coyote dog or a Coyote pizza? Folks, I don't know. This might make the front page tomorrow. It could.
You drop an open pass, you get back on the sideline, you get 10 push-ups.
Oh, so you did see push-ups that were happening on the other side.
Yeah. Or no, I should see.
Oh, you
some.
should see
Yeah,
push-ups.
we should be, I
Got
should be
you.
seeing some push-ups.
You did push-ups out there when you were playing.
Yeah.
I saw that a couple of times.
Got to.
3rd and 10 for the Bobcats.
35.
Deep coverage for the
nothing.
Coyotes. Safety, W.
Coyotes.
Walker.
7:21 on the clock. And Centennial looking ahead. I don't know what their schedule is, but they're certainly in the mix. Top team in the state, top seed in the 5A state playoffs. Champions last year at 5A.
Past 3 of 4 years champions.
Past 3 of 4. 10 title games in the last 13 years and 6 state
Coming up the middle,
championships.
gets a pretty good block. Thomas Webb on the carry.
Well, that's interesting. So Thomas is back out there.
On the stop for the Coyotes,
not
number
Thomas. Okay, it's Taylor
3,
Beard.
Derek Judarski.
I was puzzled there for a moment.
Yeah. the
Thomas
announcer
is
said,
Thomas is out for the night,
Yeah.
and perceivably for the near and long term
Yeah.
for Cienega. And we'll try to find out. some
A.J.
status
Jackson
this
back
week.
deep to receive for the
Some
Coyotes.
clarification on his injury, and of course we'll put prayers and
Slattery
best
to-
thoughts out there
Right.
for quick healing for Thomas and his family. Kid's a great player,
Great person.
a great person, a leader on campus, part of the Link crew,
What a
and a student athlete.
At the
Went
20,
down to the
looking for
20-yard
room.
line.
Jackson
Just
lights it
tackled
up.
here
Still on his
across the
feet to the
40.
outside.
Stiff arm
Still
across
on
the
his feet down
50,
about the
pushed out of
40,
bounds
about the
at the
45-yard line. 1st and 10
And it was
for the
ultimately
Coyotes.
Diego Rivas on the tackle.
And Matt Slattery now has had 2 low punts that he's been able to get off. That one was a good one.
Right.
All the way to the ground. Got it off. Good punt there.
Long snapper has to get some snaps in after practice.
Right.
A couple more.
Right. That has to be, little things have to be cleaned up, right? And I know, look, whenever I talk to the coaches, even when Cienega is on the victorious side, and even when they win big games, which they do by large margins, coaches are never really satisfied. And it's the life of a coach. I don't care what sport it is. The coaches always find something small to scrutinize because they're always trying to teach these kids and help them to become better and improve. So there's a lot of areas of need that the Cats will look at in film and say, we can do better at this, we can do better at that. 25 on
Mark Jacob on the carry.
Mark Jacob
gets to the outside. Brought down by number 20, Francisco Anaya. And it's enough to move the chains. 1st and 10, Centennial.
Francisco Anaya Jr., Frank Anaya on the tackle. So some Cats players here getting some reps late in the game. And Centennial making some wholesale substitutions as well. And they're coming in with their backup quarterback. So number 18, Tyler Hovater, the senior. Yeah, senior quarterback 18. Hands off the football.
Coming up the middle gap. Coming to Coyotes.
A yard on the carry.
I'm sure he wants to make an impression.
Yeah.
Go off,
Right. It's nice, right, for a senior to get out there and get some reps.
Now quarterback for the Coyotes, Taylor Hovater for Centennial at the quarterback spot.
Size. And then last year, the quarterback that Centennial had was a 3-year quarterback. So he started as a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. So, and I don't recall his name, and I wish I would have recalled it. But so some transition here now with Centennial, and Jonathan Morris, the junior. You imagine he'll be a 2-year starter as a junior and senior.
Cuts the corner, gonna get, he gets hit and hit hard, but 3 or 4, maybe a little more. We got a flag down at the 30.
And a penalty marker down near the line of scrimmage.
It was a great tackle by Diego.
Nice in the open field.
Come out of him on that tackle too.
For sure.
Clean hit as well.
It'll be a long bus ride back to Vail. Jacob, you're riding back with Nikki Cox, is that right?
Yes.
So one of your basketball mates, Nikki's a senior now.
Yep.
You're a junior in the basketball program at Cienega. Some transition there. Matt Johnson, a great job as the leader of that program.
The Coyotes.
Now Farbad Safavi is taking over as the head coach.
Congratulations.
Start of a legacy there.
Yes.
Wow. Start of a legacy for real.
Yes.
Great man.
Yeah, for sure.
All respect to Coach Johnson and everything like that. So
Right.
Bobby is a great person. He's going to do great things for the program.
I think so too. And Matt did a great job. Matt just wanted to step away. He's got kiddos. His son is a baseball player. He's
Looking
like,
for
I just
room.
want to go to baseball games and maybe do a little bit of like,
Mark of
not even
Jacob on the
coaching,
carry.
but like
And don't
coach
forget
third
the
base,
snack
coach
bar
first
stove.
base,
Giving we're
which
selling
is
away
basically
half
giving a kid a
Coyote
5 and
dogs
saying,
and
all right, now it's
Coyote.
2 outs, you're going to run on anything,
Right.
or keep alert, you know,
I
like
remember,
that
I know
kind of
it's
stuff.
nothing compared to actually coaching an
Right.
actual team, but I coached Powder Puff,
Yes.
and it was one of the most stressful things ever, dude. It was like people were like, I need to get it, I need to get it, I
Right.
need to do this, and it was just like constant like stress. So I
Right.
can see by him, you know, with actual parents and actual people
so many
yelling
factors.
at him, so many factors. So I can see how he's
Yes.
like, you know what, I need a break for a little bit.
He does need a break. So a well-deserved break for Matt Johnson. Several times the coach of the year in the 5A Southern or the 5A Keno,
Not much
whatever the
there, just
conference was
for
called. It's gone through different iterations of names, but a tremendous job. And you're right, Farbad Safavi, a man of high character, just like Matt Johnson.
Quintero on the stop.
Analytical thinker, intensity is there.
Right.
He's a basketball junkie. Like he's a big Laker fan. Watches college,
Go
watches
Lakers.
pro basketball. Paul McInnes, assistant coach. When Jeff Vold was there as an assistant coach, like those guys are
Pedro
gym rats,
Valdez,
man.
the
Like, they
punt for the
live,
Coyotes.
eat, sleep, breathe, drink basketball.
Yeah, always offering rides as well after practice. I remember he would always offer me
So
rides.
nice.
I live far away, you know, from Cienega and everything like that.
And where did you live down there?
I lived all the way down Cole. Nice little neighborhood.
And Jackson
That was a great.
gets it deep. See where they want to spot it. Boy, Jackson just lays it up
Special
there.
teams play. The
Yeah.
downing of the punt there. I think it was number 12, Caden Miller. Or was that? Yeah, I think it was 42. Sorry, number 42. So 42 is Dylan Wampler. Called his name multiple times tonight. Good game here for Dylan. And great coverage there to bat the punt down at the 1. They're going to watch film tomorrow, and that's going to get
first intended to do. And folks, want to remind all our friends from Cienega to drive careful tonight, enjoy your trip, and take your time and enjoy your ride.
That would have been bad.
So 3 minutes here. The Cats will try to get the ball out of their 1-yard line. We talked about doing interviews tonight, but I don't think we're up for that. Unless, Jake, if you want to go talk to Richard Taylor, the legendary coach from Centennial, that's up to you. But I'm sure Josh Kramer wants to take off. I'm sure we want to take off. It's hot. It's steamy. I feel like I'm in a Turkish bath here. I'm not accustomed to this kind of weather. Sorry, folks. So I think we'll wrap it up at the end. Okay. But we at least had the pleasure of meeting Coach
Taylor. Here on the carry on the stop for the Cows. AJ Gutierrez.
Humble for somebody who's so successful. Just generous and kind and humble. Self-effacing. Right? I think what he said before the game was, I introduced myself to him. It's nice to meet you. We shook hands, and then you asked him, Jacob, are you? He's like, yep, I'm the coach. He's like, well, I'm the coach when we win. When we win,
back off the left side. Looks like enough to move the change. First and 10.
Coach all the time.
For the Bobcats.
This team doesn't lose much.
They don't lose much at all.
He hasn't experienced a season where they've lost more than 4 games.
Very humble.
For 20, is that 27 seasons now?
Wow.
So yeah, I guess 28 now. Year 28.
Well, going back to Max Prep's 2004, they haven't lost more than 4 games in a season.
Yeah, dynastic, certainly. Again, I compare them to Alabama. That would be the gold standard of college football. Raven, you talked about these schools up here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Comparing them to which conference?
SEC, big, hard hitting.
Above left side.
Nose to nose, run the ball down the throat, football,
SEC. So
Caleb Beard on the carry.
Alabama,
LSU,
Georgia, LSU.
Georgia, Florida,
yeah.
Arkansas,
another school like that.
Mississippi, Ole Miss. I don't know if they're in the SEC.
Ole Miss as well.
Joseph Bajano on the stop for Centennial.
Football that are always in the mix.
You can always compare Centennial and Ironwood. I always compare them a lot. Ironwood's just a Tucson version of Centennial.
Right. And Ironwood Ridge, they typically, if you're thinking about like offensive and defensive linemen, so Ironwood Ridge is great.
John Flores on the carry.
Former lineman who played at NAU. And he's able
on
to
the stop, Jake Custis.
High-caliber offensive linemen. South Point Catholic in Tucson also is able to recruit high-caliber offensive linemen. So if you're an offensive lineman who's in Tucson, you're either going to go to South Point or Ironwood Ridge. Unless you live in the Vail District, then you're going to go play at Cienega, typically. But Cienega maybe gets one blue chip size athlete at offensive or defensive line every year. And other teams like Centennial have five of them starting, and then a couple of players in reserve every year. It's very difficult.
Good effort there. You got to enjoy that.
Interference there. Is that 3 on the other side? 13.
Tony Brown, 83.
Right, 83 on the target. Alex 13 on the coverage. And you're thinking that Ferris maybe interviewing the receiver.
Maybe the ball was not catching touchdowns.
You would know Grace. If anybody would know, you would.
Yeah. Watch this. I was watching tape, like 2 guys just, oh my gosh, I remember the one we were playing skeet. And you were oh crap, it could be ball. Right.
But I also remember you like climbing the ladder, elevating, like super Tecmo style, catching the ball in traffic, landing, spinning, and just disappearing, like just streaking off to the end zone. I don't know if you remember those plays too.
I remember some of them.
And
they're all quick, like blurs now.
But you have a list of highlight reel plays and impact at Cienega as a student athlete again. And that great group, I'm trying to remember those TAs, like I had TAs from first period that were not my TAs.
Folks, if you lost the cell phone, please go to the south entrance.
Every single morning.
And there, if you can identify a cell phone, please go to the south entrance, and they would like to meet with you.
Emma Sebastian.
She's my roommate now.
Emma Sebastian's fantastic.
It's me, Darius, Emma. We're all roommates.
That's a great mix. So
great mix.
Give her my best. And then there was another player. She was a soccer player who was friends with Emma. Laney
Poland. Right?
Is that her last name?
Laney Poland, Darius?
Well, that the quarterback will take a knee. It should be just about it.
Yeah, Lane Poland.
Want to say congratulations to 2 great teams. A great effort by our friends from the Bobcats. And this one will go to the Coyotes.
In the first period,
So that was an interesting mix. So
let's have a round of applause for both teams. The Coyotes will take it.
Thank you here.
Thank you so much for allowing me, Jacob.
Jacob
Mr.
Greenberg
Miller,
is my stalwart play-by-play broadcaster. So Jacob, I have to thank you because you lead by example. You do a superb job on play-by-play. You'll be back next week, I think, with Tyler Braun doing the color commentary. But step aside and just kind of coach and watch you guys. And I know you're going to have a great season. But Braben, it's been a pleasure. You're one of my favorite students. Darius Williams, one of my favorite students. To hear that you three guys are roommates together is just a great mix of high caliber people.
Right.
And I was telling you earlier today, you've got to encourage the younger generation to register to vote and to vote. If you want to, you've got to be active in our democracy.
Right.
And I cannot stress how important it is.
And again, a reminder, folks,
if you want to
to our friends
society,
from the Bobcats, please take your time getting home tonight. Enjoy the ride. Grab yourself something to eat, get a cup of coffee, take your time. Tomorrow's Saturday.
I just want to stress that
and
point.
for the Coyotes,
again,
the Coyotes now extended out.
Off camera and off air, but if you wanted to,
3-0, and we'll see you here. Now, next week, we'll be traveling. We'll see you then. We'll get a hold of you.
Finally
Thank you
able
much.
to get you out here, and I so appreciate you taking the effort, the time to come out here and join us on the broadcast.
We'll be going to Ironwood Ridge. I'll be making that trip.
So
we'll see you
sign
then.
out for the whole crew. I'm Jason Miller for the Matrix.
Don't
Braden
forget,
Bolton, Jacob
Thursday,
Greenberg, Josh
we'll be
Kramer,
playing our junior
Bobcat
varsity.
TV,
Coyotes be here,
the
right
whole
here,
crew.
6 o'clock.
We thank you for tuning in. Next Friday night, it'll be same cat time, same cat channel on Bobcat TV as the Cats take on Rincon University High School and try to rebound from tonight's loss. I know they will. Pat Nugent and that coaching staff will have this team moving in the right direction, and Cienega can rebound and get things back on track. You know they're going to be competitive. You know they will rebound. Stay resolute. Take care. Good night. Safe travels. Have a good weekend. Peace.